Welcome to this episode of Aim Down Sights. Is it like episode 26? I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I don't know this week what
Yeah,
episode we're
26.
at. But welcome everybody, and super excited to have everyone joining us on chat who are watching live on Twitter and such. We have an amazing set of topics this week, and we also have fantastic Infinite Umbra joining us. And so I'm just going to do some intros very quickly, find out what everyone's been playing, and then we're going to kick into some topics. So, Umbra being our fantastic guest from the lovely podcast, The Fix. How have you been? What have you been up to? What games have you been playing? Thank you for joining us.
It is a pleasure always kicking it, with like-minded good people. I've been playing a bunch of things. I had recently just got the Plucky Squire. Have you all tried that out yet?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You stole my game, baby. Let's go.
Man, I'm loving it, man. It's actually pretty dope. I thought it was going to be pretty good from what they showed us. I will say it's not overly challenging. It's the same thing I had for Astrobot, where it was like it's not a really hard game, but it is a fun game, if that makes any sense for anybody. And I like the creativity behind it too, like the whole idea of jumping from the storybook and all of that, and the mechanics involved in that. It's got a lot of charm. So I'm playing that right now. I'm also still playing Black Myth Wukong, which is currently my game of the year. I had did some modding on it. That's one of the beauties of actually PC gaming. And I'm not trying to turn this into a PC versus console discussion, but one of the reasons why I got into PC gaming was to try to play games at a performance and higher fidelity and all that without any compromise, right? And Black Myth is one of those games. It's Unreal Engine 5, et cetera, et cetera. And I've modded it now since I beat it twice, and I got Goku in there now. So I'm running around as Goku, and I
Which version of Goku?
This one is from the he's like torn apart, like not torn apart. He's got his clothes torn and stuff like that. This is like after his fight with Frieza. That's what he looks like.
Oh, like Super Saiyan 1?
Yeah, well, he just before he turned Super Saiyan. Yeah.
Oh, right before he turned Super Saiyan. Okay.
Right before he turns. And it's pretty dope. Yeah, it's pretty dope. And happy to be here with you guys tonight. Just enjoying gaming a lot. Some other games I've been playing, but I'm not really thinking about them at the moment right now. Excited for that Starfield Shattered Space, though.
I know, right? I'm so excited for that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you all for having me, by the way. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. And Soul called you out last week, and you were so humble to say yes. And thank you, Soul, for shouting out to Umbra and asking him to be on the show. We appreciate it there, Soul.
It's what I do.
Speaking of Soul, what have you been up to? What have you been playing?
Well, I was going to talk about the Plucky Squire a little bit here.
Talk about it.
I mean, because Umbra has pretty much said everything that I wanted to say. I'm proud. I think I'm on chapter 4, and it is a very whimsical little game, right? The way they jump in and out of the book with the gameplay elements is pretty dope. It's not too difficult, but let me say, Umbra, I don't know if you had problems with them, but those damn beetles. Look.
Oh, yeah, they got me a few times.
Gosh, the beetles got me, and I was like, yo, okay. But I don't want to give anything away. It's a really, really dope little game, and I think everyone should try it. It's a nice little palate cleanser, but it's a lot of fun. Outside of that, I'm still in the Diablo and tooling around like I am in Sanctuary, just waiting for this Vessel of Hatred DLC Season 6 to drop. And, that's probably all I'll do is tool around with a little Diablo until then. So, and Shattered Space. Shattered Space. Yeah. I went back in just to tool around, make sure that I had my button configuration, my layouts right, got familiar again. So, I'm ready for that one. That's where I really want to
go. I am so excited to be playing that game. I definitely am.
Yeah.
So I got to give you credit, by the way, on your beard, brother.
Talk to
I
me.
Noticed it. Hey, listen. I got a little something growing on my face, but it ain't nowhere near like to the lengths of you got. Like I keep mine pretty short, right? But I got to give you credit. It's well kept. It's looking cool on you. I got to give you your respect. You got it upkept real nice.
You've got a level 20 beard, yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, you got a level 20 beard. Yeah.
Thank you, man. I will tell you how I grew that thing out, but we have to talk about that offline.
I have a
Pause,
feeling
though.
I
When
know
you
what it
said
is.
that grew thing out, you made me start thinking about Diddy parties now. You gotta
Oh,
be careful how you say
hey.
that.
Hey, I mean, I'm just saying, with or without oil, it depends on you, baby. It depends on you. Oh, it's gonna be a wild one tonight. Yeah,
Love
thank
it,
you.
love it, love it. Nero, how are you? What have you been playing? What have you been up to?
What's good? I've been chilling, man. I've been pretty good, just gaming as usual. I've been playing a plethora of things, man. So been back on Dragon's Dogma 2. Uh one of my top tier contenders for game of the year, man. But it's been some real bangers this year. Been playing, started Banisher's Ghost of New Eden. That might have flew under a lot of people's radar, man. I had my eyes on that leading up to its release. Was able to get it on a nice little sale.
Mm,
Space Marines 2 is living up to the hype. Fire, banger. But most importantly, man, no matter what I play, I always end up back in Starfield, man. It's such an amazing game, man. Uh, I've been playing that, getting ready for the DLC, as we'll talk about in a bit. Got my character. This is my explorer uh, character, man. I got the Varun background, so I can't wait to see how that plays with the story. Another background is I'm just an explorer. I just maxed out my relationship with Andresia, so that's dope. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really just interested to see how this DLC and everything is going to play out. Yeah, but excited for Diablo coming in a few weeks as well.
yeah.
You know, for the fighter fans out there, MK1 got some expansions coming next week. You know, plenty of characters. So
Mm.
gaming
That,
is
for
in
that
the
Banishers, Nero, how you say you like it? I did see a gameplay of it too, by the way. Is
yes,
it
sir.
what would you describe it as? Because I've seen it and I just don't quite know what it landed at.
Man, this joint, it's kind of different, man. So, like, I don't want to spoil it, and I'm trying to see how I can explain how good it is and unique it is without even spoiling the review. But it's like, you're basically a banisher where you're supposed to be basically working for the people. People get hunted, like if a loved one died or if a lady husband died, it's a reason why he hunting her, and you got to pretty much like you kind of like a ghost detective type. But then you got to banish him. But it's a twist in the story because you really got two main options. You know, your lady, your girl, she kind of a situation happens, so now she kind of a ghost, and she was the banisher too. Y'all both was banishers, so it's like really two big moral points that the story is trying to hit on, where you can kind of sacrifice and blame the victims that's being hunted, and a lot of times I ain't gonna lie, so far they've been deserving that blame. Like it's kind of your fault you being hunted, like the steps you did to get here. You know, so I'm gonna do that to save Bay, and the voice acting is so well done. Um, just beautiful, man. I got a beautiful sister in there. Her voice acting is dope, man. And just the story is as a whole, the game is just pretty dope, man. I love games like this, man.
So
Nice.
are
Games
you
like
gonna play
this.
through it twice and play
Um,
through one way of playing it? Because I know what you're talking about around not
yeah.
wanting to do spoilers, and then the other
Mhm.
way and see what the difference is.
I want to, but I don't know if I would do it right away after the initial playthrough, just because there's so much stuff that is coming. Like I mentioned, you know,
Yes, there's a lot of
Starfield,
games.
Dragon Age is the Veilguard is really starting to look like more and more like, man, day one. Like I gotta grab that. Like it's
Yeah.
looking really good from all the play previews and stuff like that I've been seeing. So I don't know if I do the back to back playthroughs, but I might.
I'm gonna pick up Veilguard after I finish my current playthrough of Dragon Age Inquisition because
Mm.
I've got like over 150 hours on my current playthrough because that game is massively bloated, but I want to do everything.
I tell you what, I'm about to land back on again, and I always end up coming back to it. Mass Effect trilogy, man. I'm about to do the my
Nice.
legendary, just straight
Mm.
up as evil as possible
I can't.
run
I
through.
can't.
I know, and that's why
Punching
I'm
all
doing
the
it, Panda. That's why I'm doing
face
it.
and
That's why,
like
and look,
you're
it
going
makes sense.
renegade. Yeah.
I'm going fully renegade, and the reason I'm doing it is because it's like, yo, fuck everyone. I'm mad at the world, yo. I'm playing on legendary difficulty. I know I'm gonna be
This is where
dying a
you're
lot.
like, I don't want to save Cade or Ash. Cade
But
and all
look though, see,
Ashley. I just kill them
I
both.
never ever out of all my playthroughs, I done beat each of them games at least three times each, right?
I
Out of all my
love.
playthroughs, I never once saved Caden.
He
But
let
I'm
him
about
tap.
to, I'm about to be an evil female shepherd. I'm gonna date Caden across all 3 games because that's another achievement. You got to romance the same person across all 3 games. You gotta
Yep.
beat all 3 games on legendary with the same character. So that gave me a reason to go back. Like I don't got many achievements to really clean up in that. So that game is just spectacular, man. The entire trilogy, and on the Series X, maybe it'll be there on the PS5 Pro, but it's not there on the Series. It's not there on the PS5 right now today. You know, we got 120 hertz, 120 frames on that Mass Effect trilogy, on the whole trilogy. We got 1440p 120. PS5 got 4K 60. I mean, that's cool, that's cute, but I just thought I would let anybody know because it's on sale for like $8. If you want to go support one of the best trilogies in gaming, it's on sale for
I would
$8.
agree.
You know what I'm saying? Then last one, gotta shout out Cyberpunk. That is just another great, fantastic game. I think I'm like 8 achievements away from the full completion. So I'll be dabbling in that. But like I said, I got a problem where it's like I keep wanting to go back to older games because older games look so good on modern hardware. Like, just especially on the green team side, like, the upscaling,
FPS
just everything.
Starting early.
The
Starting early.
superior VRR, you know what I'm saying? Those full features and stuff like that. I'm hoping the PS5 Pro has these features as well. And yeah, but it's just so many great games out right now, man. So for the people that just be like, yo, man, gaming is in a bad place. It's not. I'm like, no, stop it. You can't be gaming. You can't be gaming if you feel that way, man. From indies to just AA games to just sleeper, games and stuff like that, man.
They're calling you out.
Look, listen. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It's a bunch of PlayStation 5 remaster games that, like, listen, as an Xbox guy, people gonna say I'm crazy. As an Xbox guy, when I see a Days Gone remaster, I'm like, okay, cool, bet. Give me that. When I see it, now fuck Horizon. I don't need a remaster of that boring ass game. But when I see these other, the PS4 wasn't fire until the end of the last generation. All my favorite games from Sony came at the back end of the PS4 life cycle. PS5 life cycle haven't been shit. I'm not one of the suckers that bought a PS5 day one and ain't been having really shit to play over there all generation. Like, let's be for real. If you comparing to what we got to what they got, I mean, they got their cute little games here and there, but it's really been the remake and remaster station. That's why Panda called the PS5 Pro the PS5 remastered. That shit is not it. They don't got too many games over there. They don't got good roadmaps. The PS5 is weak. I seen the video of Digital Foundry doing the PS5 Pro comparison to Final Fantasy, and I'm like, yo, that's awesome. It looks so much clearer. It looks so much dope. But that just goes to show that the game looked like shit on PS5 since day one. Like, blurry as hell. Everybody trying to pretend like it's not blurry as hell. John Linneman, you too.
Blurry. Yeah.
Y'all, that shit blurry. 16 was blurry. 7 remake was blurry. Origins was blurry. You know
I felt like the Rebirth was worse than the first one, than 7. I thought the 7 was clearer. I thought it was sharper versus because I played the demo for Rebirth, and I'm like, why does it look like this? And I didn't care to keep playing it, but I saw those comparison screens, like you said, and they didn't make any mention of that when they gave the 90s, whatever they gave it, super high scores.
They never do. Like Umber. Look, listen, bro, because you look. I review Star Wars Outlaws, man. I called it a masterpiece in my eyes, and I don't see why people so mad about it because these very same people will sit up and tell me Horizon is a goddamn masterpiece. Either one, neither one of them games, in my eye, them games is so mid. To people who like them, good for you. I personally like and love Days Gone. Like, I would view that as a masterpiece, but the general consensus of that is that it's ass. Everybody got their own opinion and shit like that.
Yeah.
But Horizon and these PlayStation games is not doing nothing like really on the technical side of things, right? Like, all right, Horizon look cute. That's a pretty game. But if you talk about on the technical side of things, what is it doing? It's not hitting native 4K. It's already being upscaled on the checkerboard. That's all you've been hearing since the PS4. The PS4 Pro couldn't hit native 4K. The One X can. The PS4 Pro couldn't. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you already checkerboard up. No, it's not one PlayStation first party game.
Oh, Has he dropped out on
Did
for
we lose
everyone
him?
else? Did we lose him?
The PS5 Pro sniped you.
Yeah.
I
Talking
think
smack.
it was too much PS slander.
Yeah,
they
I
like-
think so too. I think
That's
so.
what it is.
They're like,
Yeah.
we're about to remaster your audio. That's what they.
got him right up out of here, didn't they?
Yeah, got him out the paint.
It did indeed. It did
Hey,
indeed.
you know.
Well, before he gets into talking about Horizon, because that is the topic, and he's going to do what he did last week, which is talk all the topics before we get started. Well, our first topic we're going to move over to is basically just a quick rundown of Shattered Space. So Starfield's first major expansion, and we're going to get a chance to visit the homeworld of House Varun for the first time, and I'm so excited for this. But I'm gonna throw to our lovely
Panda, you didn't speak on what you had actually been playing, have you?
I have
Yeah, I
not
don't think you
actually
did,
played
Panda.
anything this week other than maybe finishing Mafia 1. So
the
Mafia
definitive
Remastered
edition.
1. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't
finished
spoil
that,
it. Don't spoil it.
Loved it.
and I've started
Don't
number
spoil
2.
it.
I'm not going to spoil anything. Other than that, I have been really busy with work, and I've been at my folks' place. They haven't been there, which is great. I had a very busy yesterday, and I'm very exhausted and sore.
Yeah.
So sore. Okay. All right. Well, we'll
I
crack
heard
into it. We'll crack into it. So I'm just gonna,
Okay.
I didn't really play anything. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, no, hey, sometimes it's how it is. I get it. It happens to me. It happens to all of us.
Okay.
Hey,
So
I
very
saw. I was tooling around in the Xbox store on the console yesterday, and I saw that they have the Mafia trilogy. Now it's not all remastered or definitive versions or whatever, but they do have 1, 2, and 3. I believe it's like $9, $10, something like that.
For the
So
whole
for those
trilogy.
who had for the whole trilogy, it was like $9 or something strange. It was
Yeah.
like, why not just 10? You know,
Has
but it's
number
like
2 had a remaster? Because I've only got the 360 version. Or is it only a 360 version?
I know they have the definitive version right now in Game Pass for sure. I thought they did a 2 remaster or something something, but I don't quote
think
me on it.
so. I don't think so. Chat.
Okay, yeah.
let me know
Lyric
if
says it's $9.50 for that trilogy, which I was almost just bought. I mean, because I have Mafia 3 and I have the definitive downloaded, and I started that about 2 weeks ago, and I'm still on the same damn bridge or wherever I was when I started. But I really
Great
want to get
series,
into it,
though.
and I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to manage my time with all of these games that involve a lot of go here,
Yeah.
do this, and
You know what
and
I'll
then
say to
look.
that soul? Part 1, though, I
Okay.
will say it's not super intensive on like the open world stuff of what you have to do.
Correct.
I think you
Okay.
can get through with that probably within 8 hours, 10 hours.
Yeah, I got
Oh.
through it quite quickly. I got through it very quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, good deal.
Get
Good
through
deal.
the chapters.
It's a dope
You
game.
can play free roam after you complete the story. And I was just like, I'm quite happy. I don't need to go into free roam. I've completed the story. I want to jump on to the next game. I was like,
Okay,
yeah,
thanks.
I'm not gonna achievement hunt on this one for once. But all right. So did everyone have a chance to watch the Shattered Space video for the deep dive into the DLC? Has everyone had a chance to watch that?
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm gonna kick off with you then, Umbra. What are you super excited for this? You playing it on the 30th? Because that's when it releases on the 30th. Was there anything during the deep dive that sort of called out to you that you're like, yes, I have to play this game? Like,
I'm super excited because, like I was saying in the green room, that I got plans to do things with this with PC. I played through it. I have probably more hours than most people I know. Just about. I got 334 hours in Starfield. So I'm going to be replaying.
Are you going to do a Steam review and go 334 hours would not buy? Do not recommend.
334 hours would not recommend.
No.
Not good enough.
POS.
Right.
That always cracks me up that there were those going 400 hours and would not recommend it. Like,
Right.
Well,
No,
I wouldn't play a game I wouldn't recommend for 400 hours.
right. I wouldn't play a game I wouldn't recommend for an hour, let alone 300.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Mm.
I know it's
Oh.
weird too. But no, I liked a lot about it. I got plans, like I said, because I've put so much time in on it on Xbox Series X, and I'm going to put more into it on PC because I'm going to mod it. I'm going to put Star Wars in it, and I've seen it in action. It looks downright incredible. Just gonna be honest, it looks really, really good. And you can like have the Mando as your main character, so I'm gonna do that. Have their armor on and everything like that. You also get the ships, so you get the Millennium Falcon, things of that nature. I think
Ooh.
maybe Slave One, which is Boba Fett.
Ooh.
So yeah, so I'm definitely gonna have the Millennium, that's for certain. Which lines up with what I said way back. I was talking about on Boom's podcast, talking about that I was gonna do that. So this is just me having manifest destiny coming together now. And so I'm really excited. They never really you didn't get a chance, not you never really did. You didn't have much of anything to speak on with House Varun in the main game.
Yeah.
You had like the one main mission, which kind of had you in this hallucinogenic. I don't want to give too much away if people hadn't played it.
Right.
Pottery barn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had this LSD kind of trip.
I actually really enjoyed that one though.
It was a good
quite
mission.
interesting.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. But you had that, but you didn't really dive deep into that. Like every other faction that you would deal with from the Federation to the Rio Jinx, all of them had more, I guess, a deeper dive into those factions. This one didn't.
Right.
So that's why they saved it just for this DLC. So I like a lot of this, of what I see. First and foremost, I would say like the lighting and coloring. You see it even on this image that you have here on the screen. It almost looks like a different game in a lot of ways.
It does.
Right?
It does.
Yeah, it has a very different aesthetic to it. The first, I don't want to say the first game because that don't sound right. The base game, it's nice looking, clearly, right? But it also has a kind of sterile, kind of, you know what I mean? Like all together clean look when it comes to the environment. Versus this, it looks more chaotic. It looks more colorful. It looks more out there. The base game seems more flat tone wise with color and stuff. So this that pops immediately. And then you see some of the new creatures or aliens that that you see in here. So I'm really excited to come across some of them. I'm hoping, since they kind of showed it in a horror aspect when the guy was going through the little I guess facility and the lights flickering off and on and all that.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they tap into what the main game did with I forgot the name of that main alien.
I know what you're talking about.
But that was you know what was so unique about that one? So in the main game, that was the only, and that was one of my gripes. What I don't like about Bethesda games, and I love Starfield, so I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea.
Are you talking about the Terramorphs?
The Terramorph. That's it. But that was the only unique thing in Starfield where it had a dedicated cutscene and everything to it.
Oh, that was
everything else.
That storyline was fantastic.
It was. It really was. And you had a real sense of like fear going on, right? Like I want them to explore that more, and I'm hoping it seems like that's what it's going into from what we saw in this preview on this guide doc. So yeah.
Very quickly, I think Andraja was House Varun from
She was.
Yeah, she was. Yep. I see Lyric mentioned it too. Yep. Thanks, Lyric. So I would hope that they kind of dive into that more. It seems like that's what they were kind of hinting at. And I thought that's when, to me, I thought that was a real standout mission in the game, personally. You had a build up to it. They talked about it. You see these people, the town, or I guess their makeshift community torn apart. And you're like, what's all this? What happened here? The gates torn down, dead bodies everywhere. Then you just find this one lone survivor, and they're like, oh, how did you make it here? And all this, it's a lot of confusion, and all that plays out. The music is crescendoing all nice, and then you get to this cutscene part when you make it to a certain point, and you see the Terramorph tearing this other alien apart, and it's like, I really wish.
So that's the best quest line in the game. Yeah.
It was, right?
For sure.
Yep.
But what I would have loved though, Nero, is if they would have had more of that. Like they didn't have moments. they didn't have like those. You know how
That
Call of
deep
Duty
sci-fi
has those.
aspect. Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you go to even what you were mentioning with
I
Mass
think they're
Effect, how
leaning into that stuff more though, which is
I hope
nice.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope so. But
Yeah.
like if you look at Mass Effect or you look at Call of Duty, you know how they have those what they call those staged events,
The set pieces?
set pieces. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're
So
welcome.
Mhm.
that mission
Not just a
had
pretty
set pieces.
face.
A wealth of knowledge, a wealth of knowledge. But yeah, the set pieces that those games have kind of extra give a little extra oomph to the story, right? Bethesda
Mhm.
doesn't really give you that. You kind of just get what you get, and it's all right. Next to the next thing. And I like that this mission in particular had that. It was so stand out that no other mission does it. If you play it, you'll see what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only one that
Mhm.
doesn't have that specific
I'd
upgrade.
arguably can say that the Vanguard quest line is better than a lot of main quest lines in a lot of games.
Yeah,
Yes.
That quest
Yeah.
line
yeah.
alone could arguably be better than the main quest line in Starfield.
I wouldn't disagree with you actually, and I think it's
That
Yeah.
is
because of how they
definitely
set it
my
up, right?
favorite. My
Yeah.
favorite quest line from a Bethesda game, shit dating back to the Brotherhood and Thieves Guild and Skyrim days. So
Oh man,
that definitely took
it,
me back, and I think
it
they
did.
really
Yeah,
lean in heavily. They even stated it like this entire piece of DLC. It lets you leave the planet if you want, but no mission, no quest, no content requires you to leave this planet. So this
yeah,
is like really gonna be one of those Bethesda handcrafted experiences that we all
Yeah.
came to know and love. And I think what the room. Sorry guys, it's a storm where I'm at, so I'm having like internet outages. So
Just
if I,
admit it.
you know,
Sony sniped you because you were talking smack.
it
Just
always
admit it.
happens when that's why I'm gonna just leave them alone. I'm gonna talk about our goats over here.
uh-huh.
Our
There
game
you
goats
go.
over here. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, but I think they're gonna lean more into that supernatural aspect. Even with all the abilities, as many hours and days I got into Starfield,
hmm
I never collected all of the abilities that you can collect.
Really?
Some of the
I
homies they went and got every single one,
I
but
actually
I
didn't
was so
either.
distracted just role playing a lot of the times.
Let me. How many hours did you put into the base game?
Hold up, I can go look.
I just did my math while you said you had like 3+. I have
334.
I think 264.
Oh, so you ain't no slouch. You see, you put in
No,
some
no,
time.
I've been playing, baby. I was
I
getting it
see you.
in. I was
So
getting
that's
it in.
and this game calls for that. It calls for you to explore. That's one thing I really did love about it. So what this House of a Room thing, just speaking to the question at
I
hand.
got 282.
Okay, see, both of y'all see we all put in time.
Yeah,
We
put
had
some
no
time in,
slouches.
baby. There you
But
go.
like the House of Room thing, what I will say outside of the aesthetics that really draw you in, it's real colorful, way different than the base style
Mhm.
of the game. I like the fact that you can go here and you're not locked off from any other missions. You can leave the planet and come back, like you were mentioning, Nero. So
I
that's
hate
really
games
cool.
that do that to you, and you're like, you can't go
Yeah,
anywhere. Once you're stuck, once you go there, you have to finish it. I'm like,
right.
I
I'm
don't
bro.
want to
I
do
will say
that.
this though. I
Yep.
will say this. I know it's not for everybody, but this just exploration build through fully surveying the planets and stuff like that. This playthrough has been so fun. Like I know the procedurally generated planets is not for everyone. Yeah, a lot of moons and rock planets might look similar, but man, when you really explore, it is some hidden beautiful worlds
Yeah.
out there.
Yep.
And fully surveying and exploring and having to do that, it's so relaxing and peaceful. Now that they added the Rev 8 vehicle, like it's just perfection, yo. Like
Yeah.
it just don't, and it continues to get better. So, because I done found some worlds that wasn't like what we go into Space Room. I mean, in the DLC that looked just incredible. But I done found some planets that had like a pink purplish aura about it. Like it done had different shades for whatever reason. And the entire atmosphere was just like really dope, yo. So
Mm.
man, it's
Fuzzy Tomato has 712 hours. If
Crazy.
Holy
let
Crazy.
me
crap.
let me shut
Damn.
my mouth. I'm sorry, sir.
Sheesh. Yeah.
Lyric
Hey,
got
you know,
14 days. That's probably about four or
that's
five
crazy
hundred.
as hell too. Yeah. I really like when the Terramorphs were on, oh my gosh, where they come. That was another good set piece in a sense when they
Oh, you
came
talking about on
to
the
New Atlantis. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And
Yep.
you had to, yeah. I thought that was
Spoilers.
dope. Yeah, and oh,
Oops. Right.
I've played it, but for anyone who hasn't,
For anybody who
mm,
hasn't, sorry.
Yo, if you
you can have
haven't,
the
yeah.
little
man, hey, you
sets
So
need
and
to
you can
get in
just
that
there.
like
Hey,
Pokemon fight each other? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, the Pokemon, and then there was the Power World thing, and then Nintendo. I don't know how the hell they got there, but Nintendo was in there. It was something else. It must be those mushrooms. I have no idea. But
Right.
yeah, but that being said, I wanted more of that, and some of the mind control aspects, and I hope they really lean into it. How about that? I hope they lean into it, lean all the
I
way into it.
I'm so excited for the fact we're gonna have a curated world, like purely just where we can just spend so much time, and it's just one location, which is quite nice. And I'm looking forward to the potential of what future DLC looks like, where they actually go, here's another planet where we're gonna introduce you to this, and this is be this curated world that we create for you.
Mhm.
I love the whole concept of shattered space, and I think it's
definitely.
going to be so much fun to play and get a lot of people back into Starfield that have put it down initially, and they might not have picked it up since it had the update with the map
Yeah,
system,
they're
since it
coming
had the
back to
update
a
with the Rev
completely new
8.
game. Like,
Yeah, if you haven't touched it since they've done some of the updates, it's a very different game to what it used to
Yeah,
be. I mean, if you're
Yeah.
playing it on PC, like the fact that the mods fantastic,
make it a
so
whole new
good.
game. Yeah,
that's what I love the most about Starfield. It continues to grow side by side. Like, you got the mods, right? And the modded community growing the game over there, but you also got Bethesda themselves growing the game, whether that's bringing 60 to the Series X and the Series S. You know what I'm saying? Bringing a new vehicle
Yeah,
that people was asking for. They listen to the community. Just bringing a plethora of improvements, changing across the lighting and art directions behind the scenes that nobody talk about. It's funny that, I mean, I guess maybe Digital Foundry going to talk about the DLC. Maybe they'll revisit it, but they done had updates changing the entire way that light work in certain buildings and stuff like that don't really get talked about. So Starfield has been growing on all fronts, man, and that's how Bethesda games work, yo. You get a great game day one, and they just continue to get better and better over time.
They
put
expand on
Starfield
it.
on GeForce Now.
Also, too,
Mm,
that's the beautiful part about Bethesda games is the community. It's
Yeah,
like Halo, the Halo community in a way. Although I
Yeah,
would say
yeah,
far more like aggressive than that, because they make entire missions and everything else. You know what I mean? The Bethesda community.
right.
So, yeah, I mean like I said, the modding is cool on Xbox, but it's exponentially crazier on PC.
PC.
I'm really gonna get all the way into it. I haven't driven the new what do they call that? The new
The Rev
land
8.
vehicle,
The Rev 8.
the Rev 8. I can't wait to try it out. I'm pretty sure the mod for it changes it to like the Land Cruiser thing on Star Wars. I forgot
Yes,
what
there
they
is a
call.
mod for it. Yep, you're right.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's going to turn it to that, which is all good with me. But I'm definitely going to try that out. One other little part I'll say before we move on is in the standard game, and I'm going to say this. I'm hoping everybody has played this game, but the mystery of Starfield was what's the basic thing of why we doing this? Why is this happening, etc.
Right.
And we come to find out once we come, to I'm trying to say this without spoiling stuff. We find out how they got to space and what destruction it caused,
the
right?
story that
Right.
happened with
Right.
Earth was so dope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was, and that's why I'm trying to avoid talking about that part.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
Right. Right.
man. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
this right here touches on that too in House Varoon, where it backfires similarly, or summarily, as they would say, and it also causes a rip in time space, right? So that's what this is about. So, and I guess it's kind of just central to this planet. So I want to see how this plays out. I'm really excited for that in itself. But all the missions are tied specifically to that planet. So everything you find and everything like that and come across is all going to serve to the greater point of the overall picture of the bigger mission. So
yep.
excited to see how that plays out.
Excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
That's
Lyric got a
pretty.
warthog with his.
I
Okay.
think that's pretty much everyone's consensus here. We're all excited about it. But I'm wondering, and if anybody knows, please speak up, chat. Um, do we know if Xbox has any plans to tie in all of these IPs to different together. Like, there's no reason why we shouldn't have some skins like from Halo or
Mhm.
Doom or something. I know the modders can do it. Okay. But how come they can't just give us some of this dedicated stuff? Like, that's the stuff I would pay
Yeah.
for. And I'm not saying a ridiculous amount of money, but if I knew I had a well polished Master Chief, or someone,
Doom
uh,
guy.
uh, yeah, Doom guy. I mean, there's so many characters that you can choose from, where these costumes, uniforms, whatever, you could have all these different takes, and it would be really, really dope if they used some of their IPs and did that. Because let me tell you something. Let me get some kind of outfit uniform, and I can run around as Jago, or
You mean like how
That'd be dope.
Ubisoft does it with
Jago.
all of their games? Like you can get all the costumes of each
Yeah.
previous assassin in the
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed
Let
games.
I mean, come on now. I mean, who wouldn't run around, excuse me, as not only, let's say, like a Jago, but full gore. Let's
Full
go. I'm
gore
full gore all day.
or
And let me
Master
get a move
Chief.
set. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. I think that'd be dope. And I would really love something like that, or have something that really looks like a warthog right off top, or a speeder, like a speeder bike from Star Wars, or those type of things. And I'm wondering how much of that maybe was kind of initially in the game, and Todd was like, "Yeah, but my vision," and he took it out, and now maybe they're going to put some of that stuff back in that maybe they already had ready to go, or I don't know. What are you
Not to
guys'
play
thoughts on?
devil advocate, man. Like
Go
if
ahead.
Todd took something out to deliver. See, what Starfield don't really get enough credit for is how amazing and polished and just well rounded it was day one. Even if it launched in the condition that something like Spider-Man 2 launched in, when you be in a cube in space, ice cube, everybody and their mother would have ran with just footage and nonstop. I appreciate them adding stuff late, less than a year, less than a year after the launch, stuff like the 60 frames, the vehicle that people was asking for. I feel like I agree with a lot of people, like some of this stuff could have been there day one, but
Yeah.
with the way that these games are launching nowadays, day one, I would rather you add and continue to grow the game down the line. And then this stuff is free.
Yeah.
The 60 patch was free. The the vehicle was free. They could have easily tried to hide that behind something. That
Yeah.
was free. These is free improvements. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Well, you
really,
can't, you can't beat it. Now, hey, I'm not arguing. I'm just saying, it would have been nice, but the timing is everything, and it's working out just fine, especially for my pockets. Especially for my Hey, let me ask you all this. I just had I'm serious about my pockets. So let me ask you all this, since we're there talking about some of the adding in things, taking things out. How do you think a weapon like the Needler would work in Starfield?
I think
Oh,
it'd
it'd
work
be
fine.
devastating. Yeah, it'd be
Oh,
devastating too.
all those suits punctured. It would be quite interesting to see that and then watch like the oxygen and those people like flying around. That'd be quite a
Oh yeah, that'd
neat
be
thing.
nice.
I
I
think
want
Yeah.
to
that'd
see
be
how it
pretty
work
dope.
against aliens too, like how to affect them and
Exactly.
combine and blow up. Yeah.
Exactly. My mind is always going wild. Like, I wonder how this would be in this game, and how this would work over here. I think things like that would be rather interesting. Do you
I
think
agree
they'll
with you
add
there.
something like a horde mode?
I wish they would. That's why I was saying earlier with the Terramorph situation. I wish they would kind of embrace that scarier side of dealing
Yeah.
with
Yes.
these aliens and stuff in that way, and kind
Mm.
of like I guess put mission structure around that really
Hmm.
emphasize that. But to your point on adding these other like cross pollination of other franchises, absolutely. I've said this before on other games, like Halo, for instance. I was like, why don't they have Doom guy armor in here? Like why? Like stuff like that should be in the game. It
Yes.
shouldn't be something the community has to try to create or mod. It should be a DLC or something you can buy, a microtransaction. That would be pretty dope. I would definitely buy that. Like you said, if they
Yeah.
had it in here, I would buy it. I wouldn't even try to mod it. I would flat out buy it.
Take my money. Because
Yep.
when gears dropped and that horde mode dropped, that was everything. I wasn't so much the biggest fan of just the PvP, but that horde mode, take all
I
of my
misheard
money. And
you.
just think,
I misheard you. I thought you said
you
horror. You
Horror
said
mode.
horror. Okay, my bad.
Oh
Horde.
no, horde, 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 Horror.
horde
But
would be
I
dope.
want some horror. I want
Yeah.
horror.
Right.
He wants horror and he wants
No.
horde mode. Yeah.
I am
Hey,
a
man, I'm
whore
sorry.
for horror and hordes. No,
Ah, see what's happening, Umber. Let me tell you, man. See what's happening. I'm retaining some of my up north, my northern Midwest, and it's blurring the lines with this southern thing here. That's what's
I hear
happening,
you.
brother. That's what's
I
happening.
get I get you. No, but yeah, but horde mode. I wonder how that would work. I'm not quite sure how it would work in Starfield. I mean, clearly it's just kind of like a boss rush and not a boss rush, but like I guess a survival aspect. They would have to make it probably multiplayer, right? There's some ways to do it.
Yeah,
They
there's
make it
some
all, yeah,
horror mode. Oh my God,
yeah.
Panda.
It's
Yeah,
probably
we.
no horror
Yeah,
mode.
I think they can. I think they can make it work. I think they can make it work. I think they have enough of the different alien types that could be more than maybe than what we got, and that could give you
Yeah,
a horde mode. And if I'm thinking about, if I'm thinking about Gears, it was easy the way it was set up, the enemy, and the structure of the game. But I think there's some things in here that could really make this intense, or at least, how about this? There's some things in Starfield that could easily, I could see how Returnal, if you played Returnal, I could see how
mhm.
some of that could fit in as well. So maybe a mashup of like a horde, Returnal type
A
mode
horde kind
feel.
of rogue like
Yeah,
kind of aspect.
yeah,
I can
yeah.
I can see them doing it. It'd have to be a separate, mode. It couldn't be in the main game, obviously, but have it where you can bring in your multiplayer built character and level them up or whatever, however they want to handle that. Make it multiplayer through. Yeah, I think that can work. It's possible. It'll take a lot of, like that's a whole new thing they'd have to construct, but I think it could be done.
Hey, it
You're
would
just
be
giving
a
modders
change.
concepts and modders are gonna do it.
But you know what? Modders mod on, and then I will play on. If we can float on, I can play on, baby.
Yeah, I will say maybe the modders could actually create that. Being honest, I wouldn't doubt that they could do that. They listen. You saw the whole Fallout London, whole entire
Right.
created thing by modders. I'm pretty sure they can do what you just suggested. But I know it's a lot. It's a lot for them to do that. But I mean, I don't see why they couldn't. What I would say too is if we're going a multiplayer route, I would add a multiplayer story mode if they're going to go that route where we can play two players through the entire story. It'll be a little
That
different,
would be dope.
but I mean, I think it'll be pretty cool.
All right.
Yeah, and I think that would be actually pretty dope.
I will be right back if you want to kick off the next quick topic. I think Nero, you can probably see what it is. I'll be right back.
Alrighty, so I came back. So we just finished up the first topic, right, with the Starfield DLC deep dive.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so we gotta talk about the latest Game Pass banger to drop. So I was actually kind of late to realize that it's day one with PC Game Pass, but it's coming to the Xbox consoles and Xbox Game Pass at a later date, and that is Frostpunk 2. It's sitting at an 85 on Metacritic and an 86 on OpenCritic. And I just wanted to highlight that because another example of quality and quantity coming in the Game Pass, plenty of bangers, and this just seems to be another one. I know this might not be for a lot of people. It's kind of even difficult for me to explain from what I've done, seen like reviews and playthroughs of it and stuff like that. But the earth is pretty much frozen, right? And you got to manage your city. You got to manage resources and stuff like that. And politics can come into play. And that's what caught me, right? Being able to have politics and promise people to vote for this or that just to get them to, rock out with you. And then you can backstab them and betray them. So that kind of was mad intriguing. Either one of you guys looking forward to checking out Frostpunk in the future?
Uh, for me, I haven't played the first one, and I'm kind of weird where I'm the weirdo that feels like I got to play games in order.
Mm,
Like I hate to
You're
play them
not the
out of
only
order.
one.
Okay, I'm not the only. Okay, yeah, I don't like watching movies or playing games out of order. I'm weird like that, man. So I would have to play through that one first, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. And this one, I've heard good things about as well. You said it's 85 meta. Clearly, they did a good job with it because that's a great game by that standard. I saw my brother Pong Soul highlighting it on his Twitter too. So I know he's a big fan of those types of games. I do like the idea, like you said, Nero, of the political side of it. and the story. Like I love games. Me personally, I could. That's the reason why I couldn't get into games like hero shooters. Is there's no story component.
There's no
So I
story.
love stuff like this that delves into actual story and gives you a reason to do what you do.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I do want to try it out. I do want to give it a look. Like I say though, I have to play the first one before I can move to this one.
Let me ask you
Yeah.
something, Umber, because you from Chicago, right?
Yep.
All right, I'm from Buffalo, New York, so we get them crazy winters.
Oh, we get
It's
it
something.
cold.
It's something
Absolutely.
about me that I just like playing cold games. Like this, the
I
fact
get you.
that the entire Earth is frozen over and shit like that. Like I'm like, damn, man, I gotta
Yeah.
keep people warm. I know I'm gonna have to keep people fed. That
Yeah.
whole aspect just kind of intrigues me. And I'm not really intrigued by like the mythology games, the Age of Mythology. Like they look dope. Those RTS, like those games, really look cool. But none of them really call out to me or like grips me to the point that I want to play them. But this one right here, man, Frostpunk 2 looks really dope. I can't wait for it to come to consoles. I'm gonna definitely check it out. But if you got a PC Game Pass, check it out. Game Pass.
Yeah. I might just do that.
Well,
What
I'm
about
gonna
you,
let
Cole?
you
You
brothers.
trying
I'm
it?
gonna let you brothers have old Frostpunk. When I left the north with that snow, trust me, I don't want to see anything that has to do with it. But no, you have to live in. Well, those who don't live in it, if you don't know, then you don't know, right? It's one. I do not schedule any flights home because 9 times out of 10 I'm flying through Chicago anyway. And so I don't fool with the winter like I used to. I love it. Don't get me wrong, but nah. But the game itself, no, I went checked it out, and I'm like you, Umber, where I would want to go ahead and play the first one, but I think I might just jump into Age Mythology. It's the same type of game. That one has I'm interested in that one. Can't say I'm too interested in the Frostpunk, but what they presented, it looks very interesting. And Nero, I can see why you want to jump in because I was intrigued by, what I saw, but not enough to say that I'm jumping in. I mean, but that's just me, So I'm very particular about, certain games, and that's not one of those that there's. Let me. There's no French tickler there. You know what I'm saying? So
Definitely, man. Definitely those
I'll be
games,
past. Look,
not
Panda
for
caught that one.
There's no tickler. Yeah. Came back at the right time.
You did. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You're too much.
Let me ask. Now, the Frostpunk is just like is it a tactical kind of RTS situation, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's kind of like
Yeah.
a city builder on top of it. You know what I'm saying? It's like a city builder, city manager, RTS, all with story and lore and stuff in it. And I'm just like, yo, I'm so intrigued. Like I'm just I'm so intrigued. And
Okay.
I'm usually not intrigued by those type of games, but just more bangers coming to Game Pass. Absolutely love that.
Okay. I've never really got too much into like the city management type games, but I wouldn't mind giving it a try. If it has a solid story to back it, that makes it unique. Where it's not like, oh, I'm just making cities or something. Like I wouldn't want to do that. So if you actually have a real motivation and a real solid like foundation of a narrative, I can get with that.
Definitely, I definitely agree.
Panda, you over there tapping away, baby?
No.
It's a lot of click. It's a lot of clicking going
I
on.
wasn't. I wasn't actually.
Must have been Nero. Nero, you at it again. Hey man,
Someone's typing.
Nah, not me.
Not
Every
me.
now and again, I might sneak off
Umbra.
and try to play a little Vampire Survivors behind the scene.
You're addicted to that?
Yeah, definitely got a little addiction going.
I'm innocent.
So that's everybody takes on Frostpunk. Guys, let me know in the comments if you're interested in that game. If you are, if you're not, like I said, thanks everybody for joining. Hit that like button. Over 100 people rocking with us right now. So the next topic we gotta talk about, man, is one I'm really excited for, man. So Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 base install size have been massively reduced compared to its predecessor, now at 30 gigs. High quality world data textures and world updates are now seamless streamed to your device on demand. Look at that Velocity Tech working with all that machine learning behind the scenes and all them people said it was all buzzwords, huh? They all said it was buzzwords, God damn it. Nah, I love that, man. I think it's really dope. for people who don't know, this maybe more people would download it now with it being smaller because it was definitely a big game.
And having a
Um,
mods piece might be beneficial as well to people trying it out. Yeah.
Definitely. So I think this is really dope, being able to stream those textures and stuff like that. I'm very intrigued because the first flight sim looked amazing, yo. And just to think that
Did.
this is going to be even more improved, like I might be flying from Buffalo to Chicago. I might be flying out this, what up, Humber? Like, what's going on, man? Take me through the trenches. Hell's chicken or something. I might be
Go
flying
through a
over. Yeah, that was my thought. Like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know if he was affiliated. I don't want to blow the spot up, you know what I'm saying? But but
I
nah,
think
man.
like if you get a chance to have a look at the information about Microsoft Flight Sim and even the history, since 2020, they have had 15 million people try the game and play the game and such, compared to Flight Simulator X, which took 16 years to get to 5 million users. So massive success at going into Game Pass, to being available on PC day one and everything like that. And the 2024 version is just going to add a lot more variety for people who want to do more than just fly planes and look at the beautiful scenery and so on and so forth. So I think I'm really glad around the updated iteration that they're going to release. When does it launch again? Does anyone remember when it launches? I feel like it's
I don't even think they gave a
Chat.
date, but maybe I'm thinking November possibly.
Was it October?
Chat.
Let me look.
I feel like it was October.
Oh, if it's October, that's spectacular. I
I'm
can't
gonna
wait
go
to fly
find
around
out.
that day.
November 19th.
November
Okay, yeah, I
19th.
felt
November
like it was a
19th.
November
Day
game.
one on Game Pass.
Yes, that's absolutely amazing.
World premiere.
I love that, yo. I love that.
You just do voice bites the whole way through the show.
Hey, Panda. Let me do one of my patented interruptions. Umbra, I gotta ask you. I
Yes, sir.
heard you before, but I want to know now since you're on our show. Look, our show. Wow.
No, you're part of it. It's y'all show. You right?
What? So, how was that voice acting that you did? What
For
was
the
that
Halo 2 table
experience like
read?
for the Halo? Talk to us, man. Because some people might not know about that, and I'm jumping in and out of all kinds of chats and shows, and I thought that was so intriguing. I wanted to hit you up, be like, "Yo, how was that?" But I was like, "I'm not gonna hit you. That's so random." But now that you're here, talk to us, man.
Man, listen. I talked to our brother Shane, who was a developer at a studio. He's moved now to a different one, so he can't podcast with us anymore. Unfortunately, they don't allow it. But he had this idea for a table read for Halo, and I was like, man, because we first had him on the Infinite podcast, myself, Riskit, all of us, and we talked with him. Found out, Australian brother, good dude, worked with Ubisoft, worked with Microsoft before, and he was like, "Yo, we're probably gonna do a table read for Halo," and I'm like, "She, say no more." Halo is my favorite franchise of all time. If anybody didn't know, it's my favorite game of all time. Halo 3 is probably my favorite in the series, right? And that's not to say I don't love
Currently
the other
playing
ones.
through Halo 3 at the moment.
See, it's a great, excellent.
It's a great
series.
game. It is
Absolutely.
really good, Halo 3, yeah.
Absolutely. I got too many memories tied to Halo CE on through. But so he said that. I'm like, man, say no more. Like, what do you need me to do? I like, which character do you need me to voice? And I can do a bit of the, Master Chief. I can do I can do a bit of the, like the Cortana. I can do a bit of that. But like, I can really deepen my voice. So he was like, and I know it's going to sound kind of crazy, but he like, essentially you can do the space gorilla. Essentially, you can do all this.
Shit. Let me just say it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep my cussing down to a minimum this weekend. Yeah.
No, but you know what it was? To be fair, to be honest, he didn't assign me that. They had a list of, because they already had some people assigned for characters, so they had a few left, and I was like, and they had my man, what's that brute chieftain name? I'm forgetting his name right now. Somebody help me out in that chat.
It's only because you are saying it, and I'm sitting here like, because I had a brain fart on Titanfall 2 just a few minutes ago. What's the man's name?
What is his name?
Are we talking about the one that put pause to Master Chief?
Yeah, well, no, that's on Infinite. That's the one that did that. That's
Okay.
what's his
What
damn? I
what's
forgot his name too. What the hell's going on with me? I
which
need some
which one
people
which
below
one
but
which one was the one that put Paul that in the
Tartarus.
RTS? Who?
Tartarus. It's Tartarus I'm thinking
Oh,
of.
okay.
So I don't want to go too long because I know we got to get to the other topics, but
Nah.
Tartarus was one of the characters listed, and I was like, hey, I can do Tartarus. I love his lines in Halo 2. I'm pretty sure all of us did if you know heard him talking to Johnson and everybody and all of that.
Mm.
And I know I can deepen my voice when I need to talk lower. So I'm like, yeah, let me do Tartarus, and so I picked that up. We did this table read. I got our brother. Uh, why am I? Did I like hit my head or something? I'm forgetting everybody damn names
It's
tonight.
all good. It's all good.
Uh,
I'll put you on the spot. That's why.
yeah,
Yeah. Again.
well, I
And you're
got
trying to
my,
rush yourself.
yeah, I'm trying to rush. So I got my other brother on the off the Xbox International crew. To jump in. Why can't I remember his name right now? Our brother, bald head, glasses. Why am I drawing a blank? Anyway, um,
It's okay.
and I said he was talking about it. I posted it on Twitter. He's like, man, how can I get in? I put him in on it. We did the table read through Twitch and everything else. And I was like, and he was like, when the such and such find out, blah blah blah. And I'm like, fool, think they do it. Like I was in it, man, and I want to get into voice acting when it comes to games and stuff like that. So it was nothing for me, and I really had a ball. I told him, hey, we got to do Halo 3 too. So, and he want to do a Mass Effect possibly as well. So, I mean, if you all are
Okay.
interested in possibly getting on that, let me know. I'm gonna talk with him soon again and see when he's trying to get that together. So, but if you all have not seen that yet, I'll repost the link for it to YouTube on my timeline so you all can check that out because it was real dope. It was actually really dope.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
appreciate
Sorry
you
about
sharing.
that.
Yeah, make sure you do
I
that
appreciate you sharing.
and
Yes.
now no, and let us know, man. Appreciate it. I mean, the thing is, man, I just thought that was so intriguing. I'm so random when it comes to stuff like that, but it's kind of like,
Hey,
you
I'm the
know,
same way. I hear
if
you.
and so the thing is, it's like I'm all about celebrating people's talents and giving people flowers when you have an opportunity to. So it's just like a lot of people. There may be some people in the chat who don't know who you are of you, and that you are a talented brother. We're not even gonna get into the singing it or anything like that, but
Appreciate you, brother.
that just want to like celebrate you, and just since I had a chance to ask you now in the moment, just to go ahead and kind of enlighten us with that read, because I know you were excited about it then, and I just want you to share that with with the chat here today and those who are watching. And I know Fonz, he's gotten into some things, but I don't know what he's done. Have you guys linked up and done anything together?
Not in as far as voice acting. I did talk to him about that. He wants
Okay.
to do more. I forgot which game it was he did it for, but it was it's a lower end indie game.
Yeah.
Right.
But he did do that. So shout out to Fonz. He is actually one of our own in podcasting in the community that actually did get into a game and did some
Wow.
voiceover work. So I aspire to get into that. I say that, but my ass ain't been putting in no work to do it either. So I kind of ain't
Okay.
been aspiring hard enough. But I need to put a move on that. I do have some connections with people even where I work that actually tap into that aspect of voiceover work for like commercials and stuff like that.
Right.
So I got to get myself together like a talent like trailer of what I can do voice wise, and maybe read off some things and try to get into it. But yeah, man, I want to do more of that for sure. And I mean, I could push it myself to do more with the community where we can do stuff like that. To be honest, I mean,
You
it's not
should,
not
because
out of our reach. Yeah.
no, it's not, man. It's you can find some hidden gems in there, man. Hey, and I'm just gonna put it out there. Not that I would know or anything, but I mean, hey, closed mouth don't get fed. That's why I hollered at you last weekend. So, hey, no, I'm a believer of that, like for real. So, I mean, Everborn. I'm gonna, give him a shout out. Everborn is always creating, and if he's looking to maybe do any anime, or I know he's working on his game, you never know, he might need some voice talent, and that could be
Yeah.
an easy win for you and Fonz. I mean, you specifically because you're right here, right now, but
True.
you never know. I mean, I would just say, yo, hey, if you ever need somebody, I'm right here. That's
Call
all.
me. But it's funny because Everborn talked about that. He actually said it to me first. He's like, Everborn started talking. Yeah, and I
No,
do
hey
want
man, don't do it. Do not do Everborn right now, because brother, that means
That's my
you got,
boy right
look.
there,
I
man.
hope you're
Yeah,
leaning into the screen. You got your hat on,
you
and
got
you
the
have your
tinfoil
earbud.
goofy on.
You're in there. And
Yeah,
another thing, yeah,
and
go
another
ahead.
thing, perhaps you could put the medicine, the medicine inside the candy, and possibly he loves saying and with and he doesn't say and he says and. I'm like, you getting all the vowels and then the sound effects and enunciations. But no, he actually did
Oh
reach out
my
to me about
god.
that and said he wants to get me to do that for his game at one point. So I'm down for that for sure too. Yeah, and we got to shoot that shot, man. By the way, I remembered our brother name, Silent Cipher. I'm so sorry, I
Oh
forgot. But
Hi,
yeah,
yeah,
Missy.
Cipher,
yeah.
Cipher,
he,
no doubt.
he said I'm the next Jeffrey Osborne.
Woo woo woo
Would you
woo.
woo
Yo,
woo woo?
yeah, there you go. Don't start, man. Don't start. Don't
All right.
start.
Sorry,
Oh
y'all.
my
Okay.
god.
We got sidetracked.
That's
I'm sorry.
okay. That's okay. We're going to move off into the next
We
topic.
all
I'm
get
just
we all get one
switching up
spiral a
the
show.
screen.
Yeah.
I love a messy show. Love a messy show. Having a non-messy show is just boring. So,
Oh no, for sure.
all right. So,
Mhm.
if you managed to see the post on Twitter, Vince Zampella, I can't even sentence today, confirms next Battlefield will use modern setting, first concept art revealed. Actually, I looked at that and looked pretty wicked. 64 player maps, classes to return, specialists will not come back. Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 era considered peak of Battlefield. We have we have to have the core Battlefield players know what we want, and EA plans to launch a community program next year. So they're dropping the 128 players maps, and they're just going back to the standard 64 player maps, which is nice. Is anyone here a Battlefield fan? Like, anyone play Battlefield or even tried
Uh,
the 2042?
yeah,
Was it fun?
I enjoy Battlefield. I enjoyed 2042 just for a little bit, not for too long. Didn't really like the direction. It did some cool stuff technically. The technical side of things, the weather, the huge maps, the big player base. But I'm more of a arena type shooter. If I'm gonna play like something real big or BR, it's gonna be Apex. But outside of that, I like my maps. I like my team deathmatch or kill confirms and stuff like that. Um, it was all right. I'm happy that they going back a little bit, making it modernized and stuff like that.
I mean,
Taking place modern
Battlefield
day.
took a hard fall, so I agree there,
Oh yeah,
Grizzly. Yeah.
it definitely fell off big.
Ooh. Mm.
Definitely fell off. I'm interested though. I'll definitely check it out. And that's the best thing about Game Pass is all the EA games will eventually come in there. So
Yes, they
if
do.
it come out and if it's good, if it's dope, maybe I'll bite, maybe I'll support. If not, I'll check it out in Game Pass.
Mhm.
I'm definitely excited. It's EA, so it'll end up no matter what, even if it doesn't end up in like Game Pass day one or anything, but it'll end up through the EA Play, so you'll eventually be able to play it later on, no matter what, through your Game Pass Ultimate subscription. I'm excited. I love shooters. I didn't used to when I was growing up, and now I'm obsessed. So any excuse to play another shooter and try something else and something different. I really, really hope that they bring it back because they do need to push the envelope and encourage others to push the envelope. I do agree though that they really need to focus on Titanfall. I would love a new Titanfall game.
Yep.
That is just Titanfall, such a good game. Both 1 and 2, so good, especially 2.
Yeah.
Umbra or Soul, are you excited about the news that they're kind of going back to modern and back to sort of their roots and back to what they know their fans loved, or not really? Doesn't really move the needle.
It's not moving it much for me. Like I said, hey, they need to focus on Titanfall, and that'll make me happy. I'll be a happy gamer when they do that. And outside of that, I can take it or leave it. I can
Yeah.
take it or leave it. Yeah. Not much to say on that one. Give me Titanfall, baby. Give me Titanfall.
Give us Titanfall. Just everyone reply to EA and go, we just want Titanfall. Fuck Battlefield.
I mean, give me Titanfall, man. I mean, just think about it though. I mean, there's a place for Titanfall, and I understand that it just the timing of it, right? But when it dropped, it just got drowned out. But it's such a darn good game, and it really needs to make its way back. And here's the thing, though: Apex Legends is set in the same world.
We can hear Nero playing video games in the
So
background.
it's in the same world as Battlefield, you saying?
Yeah, no, not Battlefield, as Titanfall.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the characters is actually the daughter of Viper, who one of the boss fights. Her name Valkyrie, man. I really like how they tie that in, but they definitely been neglecting Titanfall. They need to.
They need to go ahead and bring that back. And let us run with it, man. I mean, it was graphically a beautiful game. I mean, the great gameplay mechanics were just dope. I mean, just really, really, really dope. And I think that's just a missed opportunity, especially in where creativity is kind of void right now, especially when it comes to the shooters. I mean, I like what they're doing with COD, but give us some variety. I like variety, and I think that would be now, I've said before, I'm not really much on PvP. That would be one where I'd take all those L's, but you know what? I'm in there because I
want some
really
Titanfall. I've still got my Titanfall controller.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, such a pretty controller.
Yeah, beautiful game. They need to Vince, if you're listening, somebody send Vince this. Vince, we don't want no damn Battlefield. Give us Titanfall, baby.
I feel like Battlefield lost its just soul, essentially, when it was trying to chase after and be a competitor to COD. I'm like, just you do you. Yeah. COD's doing what COD's doing. They're ignoring you because they've got success. You focus on what makes your game successful and iteratively improve on that. And I feel like they haven't done that, and it's nice that they're going back to look at it. But I also think, I agree 100%, they need to go back and look at Titanfall as an IP again, because there's so much love in the community for that. And I feel like there's so much improvements that could be had, knowing the improvements in engines, the improvements in technology, everything available there to make that game stand out even more as a Titanfall 3. Would be so good.
Just to add to it, I have never really been a big Battlefield gamer, but because I got a few other games in the series, but I've never really been big on that, largely because I don't care for the multiplayer of these types of games. This or COD, not really my type of thing when it comes to multiplayer. I don't like Twitch-style shooters or whatever. I just typically get my ass handed to me. I'm just going to tell you right now.
You and I love Halo.
Yeah, Halo is my bag. It is what it is. I've resigned myself to it. It is what it is. But I do love the visuals. I forgot what engine they use for Battlefield. It's not the.
Is it the?
I almost said the Frostpunk. That's damn Ubisoft. Frostbite. I meant to say that's Ubisoft though, right? I forgot what engine they use for Battlefield.
I think it is.
No, I think Frostbite is definitely EA.
I think that's EA.
So I was right. Okay.
Snowdrop is you think about Snowdrop.
Snowdrop is
yeah. Thanks. That's it. Because they both have those snow-based name. So Frostbite, I was right. Yeah, the visuals for it, outstanding. Always. So it always pulls me toward it because of the visuals. Me being an Unreal Engine fan, so it's natural for me to be drawn to more natural, real life looking things like that. So I see that and I'm like, damn, that looks good. And to add to it, the mechanics are always pretty solid from everything I've been told. From what I played too, I did play a few. What I do like in it, for one, they were wise to bring Vince Zampella onto it right here, because the man knows what he's doing. He knows how to craft a good game. He knows how to craft a great first-person shooter. So why not bring somebody like that you got in your staff on board to right the ship, right? Yeah. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say Apex Legends. Like, we know that they have the ability to deliver really good shooting games, and ones that people go back and for again and again. And I just think that Titanfall is where it's at.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. and that's Vince all the way. The Titanfall, Apex, and people always praise the mechanics of those, as well as like the outside of the general creativity of that world of those worlds, right?
Yeah.
So those are typically the highlights. So I expect him to bring that to this. They're talking about adding a battle royale. I'm not a big battle royale fan, but it could be something to help.
Battle Royale.
It could help elevate this game, though, and give it a little differentiation from it and COD in a way. Although COD does have Warzone, which is pretty much that, but uh, they have to compete either way. So I'm not mad at them for having that. It's going to have a modern setting, so they're getting out of that World War One, two kind of thing, which I think plays well into the guns that it can be used. So I like a lot of what they're doing with it. I'm just going to be honest. I think when you have great creatives behind it, you can expect great work. And Vince is just top tier, and I don't know if that's getting enough credit as it should. But Vince is really he's him. So if you all are Battlefield fans, you should be excited for this because he's likely going to turn in. They're going to turn in a good game with Battlefield, in my honest opinion.
They are indeed.
Panda, by the way, I shared something to you in the private chat. I don't know why I'm saying it that way, but I shared the link to the Halo 2 table read. I tried to share it in the chat off my own, but it didn't post because I'm not a mod or anything. If you want to add it later to the show notes or whatever, to the description, you all do want to check out the Halo 2 table read. Panda will likely post it for you guys in the description or something. Give it a check, give it a view when you all get a chance and listen to us. I think you will like it.
Yeah. I will post that out for you. Definitely.
Appreciate you.
All right, wicked. Thank you. Okay. Anything else anyone wants to add about to the Battlefield before we move on?
No, I'm just excited for it. I definitely hope it does well for all the points Umber made, and we shall see. Time will tell.
We shall see indeed. Okay. Well,
I was going to say one last part I would say is the story mode. I do like to me Call of Duty when I play those. I typically just play for single player. This right here, they're going to have both again. I think the last one was just multiplayer, right? If I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. Which I'm not a fan of. I don't like being charged a full 60 or 70 for just multiplayer. I'm not with that. And I guess I'm kind of spoiled. We kind of spoiled here on the Xbox side of things because we typically get both and the bang for our buck, right? So I'm kind of used to that, But this here, they're actually going to have a solid campaign that's going to have it set us going against a private military group going against NATO and stuff like that. So I like the premise already. Globe trotting from different places around the world too. So I'm hyped for it. I wonder if they're going to have like celebrities. I'm pretty sure they will. But yeah, that's all I want to add.
No, you're all good. All right, we're going to move over to the next topic, so I'll just start that off. Hopefully that came through all right. Okay, well, Marathon is back in the topics this week. Surprise, surprise. Sources at Bungie's Marathon appear to be targeting a $40 launch, which I'm actually quite surprised by in relation to this. It looks like the game's going to be a class-based and not a hero shooter. There are currently 2 maps playable, core gameplay structure similar to Escape from Tarkov, but with a Bungie twist. And feedback from playtesters have been somewhat positive, with some noting it feels worth the $40 price tag. Mindful that the morale within Bungie remains low amid recent leadership changes. I will just very quickly just add, I'm very shocked that they're going with the $40 price tag based off the fact that that is exactly what Concord did and then was shut down 2 weeks later. I know that Bungie does have a history and a fan base. Yeah, they've got a bit of like, I can't think of the word for it. Why can't I think of the word for it? But they do have a fan base. They have that history around delivering good games. But from everything that we've heard around Marathon at the moment, it doesn't sound like the majority of the gamers have much faith in the delivery of a game like this, because it looks like they're going for a pay-to-play model rather than a free-to-play model. I don't know how much money has been spent on this game already to deliver it, but it was delayed, and I think it's due for launch next year if it doesn't get delayed again. Nero, what are your thoughts on this $40 price tag?
I think it's needed. It's been a lot of trouble in paradise over there under the stables. So I mean, I don't think a lot of people have faith in Bungie or Sony at the moment. And Concord definitely did nothing to help with that as well. They've already lost a lot of money. I fully believe Sony had planned on charging 70 for this until Concord happened, and then I think they had to humble themselves and you got to realize, hey, you gotta do things to get back in a good grace.
Helldivers was $40, and that was a success, though.
Yeah, so yeah, you got two examples. You got one that was extremely great success, and I think Helldivers is doing good again. I think more people have been returning. I think it had a pretty good update. So shout out to them and shout out to all the fans of Helldivers. But I think the $40 price tag is commendable. And the fact that it is going to be on all platforms. We know Xbox people play games and buy games. So, having your game go over to Xbox day one into PC day one, I'm hoping the game does all right, man. I don't want to see more studios shut down and more millions and millions and millions down the drain, which we'll talk about later. But
yeah,
I'm intrigued by it. I definitely would want to check it out. I never really got into Destiny. Now Bungie is responsible for some of my favorite Halos of all time, so there's that. But as far as the what have you done for me lately, they haven't really done, quite frankly, shit for me lately. So I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued.
Yeah. What about yourself, Umbra?
Yeah, I'm sorry, you talking about for what was the question again? For Marathon, was it?
For Marathon, like the $40 price point, do you think it's warranted or it should be free to play? Or what is your thoughts on this whole Marathon?
So I posted about it before, and I had a bevy of our Hoove brothers get at me on this, of course.
You feeling a little trampled?
I got a little trampled. Yeah, they unleashed the stables on me for this and for me talking about daring to talk about the PS5. It's so pro. So Marathon for me, I thought even when they showed it, I felt nothing. And I'm gonna be honest, when they showed that during that state of play or whatever it was, I was like, And that state of play, of course, we all saw was a bunch of.
You know that they're all called state of mids until they actually have a decent state of play.
Right. It's Melissa. They showed all those different gas titles. They showed all these different, live service games. Marathon was just one in a bunch, and it felt like, even the aesthetics of the character design felt kind of, I don't know, unappealing, I would say, right? And I mean, it is Bungie, though. I think people put too much love on the current Bungie because it's not really the Bungie we all knew anymore. Most of those devs are gone that made the Halos we knew of. So just want to point it out. So they don't have that. I don't revere them the same as other people seem to revere Bungie. Not to say that they don't make good games still.
I think their reputation has definitely taken a hit. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But I've never been wowed by the current Bungie. I'll say that to start off. Two, Marathon itself, I mean, it's an old franchise, so it's cool that they're bringing it back. I don't want any game to fail. None of us do. But to me, it just seems to be a signal and of more of these types of black hole games being dead on arrival. I'm just being honest. Very few of them land. We all know this. And you're already you're fighting for your life in a very small niche subgenre of games, right? Already.
Yeah.
You got the Apexes, you have the Fortnites, the Kings, like the Fortnites, the Call of Duties. It's going to be tough. Now you got Battlefield coming back. It's going to be tough for you to really fight your way into that and draw people away from those other types of games. So for me, my bigger point was, well, you just had this massive failure with Concord that cost you $200 million. Now they're saying 400. I don't know. We'll get to that discussion soon, I'm sure. Whatever the case, you lost millions, right? And now you have this launching at 42. I don't know if that's to me, it seems ominous. And I'm going to say this. I know that it just being 40, we can't say, well, it's going to fail because of that. But part of my reasoning for saying that I don't have much faith in it doing well at that price point is again, Sony has kind of conditioned their audience to playing third person, over the shoulder, action adventure, story based games. This is not really in our Who Brothers wheel house of stuff that they care for. They'll play the Call of Duties, don't get me wrong, but they have a casual mindset when it comes to Call of Duty and first person shooters. They're not really going to invest in first party games that are that way. That's not what they prefer, and they've shown it time and time again. So
That's a fact.
I just don't think this is going to land well. Two, we've heard from Jason Schreier that it's in development hell. Jason
Yes.
Schreier, as much as many people might not care for him, and he's blog people, he's sensitive as hell. He definitely has good sources, and if he's saying that, and especially about Sony and not Microsoft, if he's saying that, he must have some really solid info to say what he's saying. So it's already in
Yeah.
development hell. Is there Bungie is in a crisis in itself in a lot of ways with the layoffs they had to do from their main staff, dealing with the failure of Destiny 2 in some ways. Uh, it seems that they're kind of finding a direction of where they want to go with Marathon for me, and I know it's supposed to be kind of an extraction based PvP. I don't know. To me, it seems like Sony is kind of setting themselves up for a failure here, and I
Yeah.
think. And again, you go and look at these other games that they're competing against. Not only now, as us as Xbox gamers or whatever, do we have the option of playing Call of Duty straight out of Game Pass? You have to pay $40 for this. You got a
Yeah.
lot of free to play games that people are
Yep,
stuck
yep,
to
yep.
right now. You're going to compete with that by charging 40 versus they're free? You're going to pull them away from those? I
You
don't
know, I
think
was
so.
I was gonna say you made a good point about how Sony has conditioned their fans to just play, walking simulators and babysitting simulators, right? Um, and it's not just what shooters they don't support. They don't support a lot of games. They don't support their platforming games like that either. Ratchet and Clank didn't sell as well as it should have. You see, Astrobot sells is not as good for as good as that game is. You got the industry dick riding it, and I'm saying it's a good game. It looked like a solid game. I look forward to playing it. Um, but it's not translating all the praise it gets from the media. It don't translate to sales. And we seen the same thing with Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah.
So all around gamers is conditioned to just support certain things, but definitely Sony fans is conditioned to support the same few games. And if they're not supporting those same few games you mentioned, it's the casual box. The
Yeah.
2Ks, the Maddens, the Fortnites, the FIFAs of the world, and stuff like that. That's why it's intriguing when you see devs sitting back, continuing to skip Xbox when we have the most users and availability as far as screens. We're on more screens than PlayStation is currently on. So, and it's just going to continue to
Mm-hmm.
get more and more distance between them as time go on.
Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I've heard just about enough of this pony slander. I'm riding in town, partner. I'm coming in. I'm coming in hot, and I know you hear my theme music coming behind me. Just give me a second to get off my here pony. I've had enough of this slander. The
There's a
sheriff
new
is
sheriff
in
in town.
town,
There's a new
and I've
sheriff
had
in
about
town.
enough. I don't know what happened to that yellow fella. He was kind of yellow bellied, if you know what I mean. I had to get him right up on the hell up out of here. I am in town and I will tip my hat. You've been running a mighty fine show, but I've had enough. I've looked at his show notes and there's some pony slander here that I just don't care for. Now, I've listened to this young buck over there. His name is Nero. He's been talking awfully tough. And I'm here to let you know there's a new sheriff in town. Give me a second to turn off my non-copyrighted music. Just a second.
Sheriff Soul in the place
You
to
know,
be.
Sony don't have enough games to fit in that hat. if you
I
if you
just
put all
figured,
their
you know
first party
what?
games in there, there'll still be plenty of room for my head and yours together, man.
There's a lot of slander going on right now, and I'm here to rectify that. Lord, 1 second. Let me have a sip of this here yellow gold. All
Oh, love
right,
you
I
so.
am here. I've had enough of that. Now, I will tell you this. It looks like they are downright out of ideas over there. I don't know about that marathon game. I tell you what, I rode a country mile, and I don't know if they'll be able to go a damn marathon from what I can tell. They are in development hell, and they need some help. I might need to go over there and pistol whip them with my 6-shooter. I don't know. That Herman Host fella, he's an odd fella. His name is rather odd. Don't you agree? I would like to say so myself. You know, I have a cousin. Actually, his name is Uncle. We call him Uncle Buck. We need to hook up, Uncle Buck. Whenever you get a moment, look me up, Uncle Buck. I think he's one of them there fellas on that Sunday show that likes to go on long marathons. Although that marathon is thriving, this marathon that will be coming out will not thrive.
You're 100% correct there.
Excuse me. I'm back. I had to laugh at myself. You can just call me Tech or Big Tex or Little Tex. It just depends. I don't know what's wrong with me. I have a problem.
My
All
face
right,
is
shout
full
out
from
Big Tex, man.
smiling. Yep, big
I'm
text. Put
so
that in the
sorry.
chat.
Texas
Hashtag
Soul.
big text.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, y'all. You know what? I just thought today we'd add a little humor in about these topics here with Sony, and I heard your call from the stable, so I had to reach down into my inner John Blackstar, if you know what I mean. For those who are old enough to know, if you know, you know, my inner Cisco kid, my Lone Ranger, my Wyatt Earp, my Bass Reeves, to talk about these
There we
pony
go.
topics.
There we go. Call out to the legend, Bass Reeves.
There we go. Oh my gosh, you guys are on point. I don't know about this $40 price point. I think it is. I don't know. They might hit with this. They might not. I mean, um, this is first party. Helldivers wasn't. Helldivers, they were free to kind of work and do their own thing. I guess the only thing is that Sony came in and started paying the bills. So I guess there was some pressure there. If they're already struggling internally, it sounds like Sony's just all over the place right now with what they're doing. I'm
Mhm.
very interested to see how this game is going to shape up, and also fair games as well. It sounds like this may be more of a, I don't know. I think Lyric mentioned earlier that either Marathon or Concord should have been a $20 game and then kind of work its way up. I understand that Helldivers hit for $40, but that's kind of one in a million, and you got to see how there was a need for Helldivers at the time, the same way that there's a need for Warhammer. Everybody's playing Warhammer because it's refreshing, you know, and Helldivers was refreshing. It was so refreshing that the guys over there that are modders for Halo Infinite, they're also coming out with their own version um, for Halo in that
Mm.
modding community, in the Forge community. So, you know, and hopefully that one hits as well. But it's something. It's a fresh take. It's a new take. Hopefully, Marathon does hit, because at the end of the day, you know, it's all about games. It's all about having fun.
Mhm.
And Sony definitely needs something right now. It's not doom and gloom for Sony. Sony is Sony. You know
Oh,
what I
yes, it
mean?
is. For me, it is.
Well, I mean, but Sony is Sony, and it's just like this. You have to look at this kind of like Apple and Android. You know, Apple is very popular and it has good stuff, but it usually has the stuff that Android, you know, has done years before. That's kind of like Microsoft. Microsoft has these great ideas a little bit before their time. Sony comes in, puts a little wang bang, little hot tool on them, and there you go. You know, it's all brand new and everybody loves it. So, you know, hopefully Marathon will hit for them. How it hits, I don't know. Um, but it would be refreshing to see. I do say this though, if it doesn't hit, it really makes me wonder where fair games will be. And speaking of, and let me go back though, because you guys might have talked about it, or we haven't gotten there yet. I'll save that for later with Concord. We might, if this game doesn't hit when it comes out, and looking at Concord, we might see people in the hot seat or possibly gone.
Mm.
We might see them gone. But you know what? I think about the two communities, how they're different. When we had a little hiccup with Redfall, folks wanted Phil Spencer out of here, wanted him gone. 80-60. I haven't heard anything about Herman Holst, Concord, and the things that they have going on. It's a tale of two communities, you know? And I'm proud to say that I'm here to rustle up them ponies, you know. But we'll see. We'll see how Marathon lands. I don't know. Bungie has a lot of stuff going on right now, and it's not all good. So
Yeah.
Just
that's
to
my 2 cents. My 2 cents.
thank you, Big Tex.
Well, I appreciate it, there, partner.
Mighty fine of you to
Should have
come
called him
through.
Little Tex there back. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, you can call him big text, little text.
One thing I was going to respond to was Chris Coleman in the chat. He says most games are third person or first. That kind of missed the point there, brother. What kind of nonsense is conditioned to play over the shoulder games? Nintendo and PlayStation don't believe in free to play games. Quality products should be paid for. There are plenty of quality free to play games. Like your whole statement is kind of out of whack. Most games are third person or first is irrelevant to my point. I'm saying that Sony has conditioned their mainstay of hardcore to have a over the shoulder third person action adventure mentality. Sony, if you have not been paying attention, has gone away from a lot of the
Very true,
diversity.
yeah.
They've gone away from a lot of the diversity they used to have in the PS3 era to now. It is very much first party games are third person rather, over the shoulder action based, story based games. That's just a fact, and those are the ones that typically sell the best for them. Other games that slightly deviate from that. Let's look at, for instance, what's the name of it with the rogue like you were mentioning earlier? So,
Yeah, it didn't do well over
what's
there
the
for
name
the
of that?
most part, but I think it do well over here. Returnal.
Returnal.
Yeah, yeah.
Returnal was one that didn't do exactly well. You look at Astrobot. It's doing okay. It's not doing what the like to Nero's point. You would think it'd be selling in the 5 millions or so right now, right? You would think that,
You would
or at
think
least 2 millions. You would expect those type of numbers,
think
but that's
that.
not what you're getting. And
No.
those numbers are reflective of the base. The base don't care for those types of games in general. They've been conditioned to play third person over the shoulder action adventure. That's not a dismissal thing to you. You might not. You might have a more wide palette of tastes, but in general, a generality. And I've talked to many of who've brother in the space, and they prefer those types of games I'm talking about. This is not me just speaking out of my butt. I was going to say something else, but I didn't want to go too far. But this is not me speaking out the side of my neck here when I say this, and nor do I mean it as a negative. I'm just simply saying that's the type of games that PlayStation gamers I've talked with in the hardcore base tend to gravitate to. And those are the ones that just historically sell, at least for the past 13 or excuse me, past 2 generations, have sold the best for Sony.
Yeah.
That's just a fact. That's not me saying this to make you feel away. The Ratchet and Clank was one of the only ones that did fairly well as a platformer, and that's even kind of action adventure based. It's not even solely a platformer. That's shooting and all that involved in that. So they even have a mismatch of genres, even with Ratchet and Clank,
That's right.
to get that audience. You see what I mean? So, and mind you, that was when it was kind of bare bones on PlayStation, when they needed people clamoring for something to play on that platform too. So I don't know how well it would fare if they just put it out in the midst of other good quality games out there, third party and etc. How well would it do? Right? I don't know. You have Astrobot again being called Game of the Year, but the numbers are not reflective necessarily of that. You look at Black Myth Wukong. I'm calling it my Game of the Year. And of course, it's a little different because China, as Trump would say, have largely embraced it.
that was good. That was good.
China. You have to do the hands too.
You gotta do the hands.
China.
Yeah.
They've largely embraced it, and I know they kind of made it a little. It's weird how it's all done. I know.
Say what it is. The sales. We know the sales. Okay.
Yeah, the sales are back because of a lot of different reasons over there, and so it's a lot of government ties to it. But at the same time, it sold exceptionally well, and it should have sold well.
Yeah.
Breaking records though, so you could tell that there's a lot of government influence going on with it. But hey, it is what it is. And you can also see the third party games like a Call of Duty and stuff are always outdoing PlayStation first party games. It's a reason for that, and it's because the base is not attuned to these types of games from first party. So it could, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Marathon might do well. I hope it does well.
I think part of
But
that failure is just not actually reinvesting into their PlayStation Plus platform and putting additional games in there that encourage people to try new games to add variety into their roster. Whereas Game Pass has definitely changed the way a lot of Xbox gamers play games
100%.
and engage with and
100%.
try new things. Like they'll just download it to try it, and if it's not their thing, they uninstall it and try the next thing. And I feel like there's a lot more variety because of Game Pass in that space, and we're a lot more open-minded to try new experiences and give things a go rather than sticking with what you think you know you like, because you don't always know what you like until you try something new. And a lot of PlayStation gamers are just sticking with the core of what they think they like, and they're not willing to try new experiences. And if they are willing, they're waiting till it goes well on sale before they do it. It's only the really hardcore that are going to spend the money day one. Yeah.
You know, this is my belief right here. Astrobot wasn't really supposed to release the way that it did. It was supposed to be another pack-in, because ain't nobody buying that shit. I'm gonna cuss for you, Umbra. Ain't nobody buying it the way that the fans, the people who really like the game, nobody's buying that game the way that people speak highly of it. Why? Because it was supposed to be another pack-in. That's what it was going to be. But guess what expedited that? The failure of Concord. The failure of Concord. Herman Host had a lot riding on that. That was his baby. And it has failed miserably. It has
talk about anyway in a moment.
It has prompted them to go ahead and release Astrobot, and it ain't doing numbers like they would like for it to do either. So they are really probably over there scrambling, and I bet we get some announcements that are half baked the same way that a certain somebody that I know we're going to talk about here very shortly, and he was talking about how the game was half baked, it wasn't ready to go. When you saw certain things, you got what you got, and you got what you got, and all that good stuff like that. I bet they're in the same situation right now, trying to figure out what the FUCK to do right now. It is showing. And for gamers and for people who game primarily over there, who are waiting for something to drop that's more like what they're been conditioned, I hope they get something soon. But they can't come right over to Game Pass and get Game Pass Ultimate for $19.99 a month. In game until the little heart's desires, until it explodes.
It's crazy that Astrobot isn't doing the numbers they thought it would do. So, but you know what's even crazier? That you can get Game Pass Ultimate for now. Let me stop.
No, baby, go ahead. Hey, I like to drop those little commercials in myself. I do it.
You can get all the exclusives on Game Pass for $19.99 a month. No, but no, just go ahead, Panda. You were about to say something, I think.
I was just gonna say, like, I think the saving grace for Marathon is the fact that at this stage it is launching on every platform. That, like, obviously not Nintendo, but like it's launching on PC, it's launching on Xbox, it's launching on PlayStation. So they've got that diversity around a consumer base available to them who are probably going to give it a go. I think the $40 price point, though, I'm a bit concerned about that, because we know what they're going to do is they're going to like just microtransaction the hell out of that game, right? And they're going to make money back off that if they can deliver a product and deliver it free to play, in my opinion, is probably a better bet. I know that they do want some return on investment, which is probably why they're looking at the $40 price point at launch. And they have one success with that with Helldivers, but then they kind of stood on a rake and were like, "Oh, PlayStation,
The
you need a
PSN
PSN
requirement. Yeah.
And then half the people who were playing it were like, "We can't access this, so bye, Felicia." And then you've got Concord, which was available and just failed because it was a hollow game, and they were going to try and keep working on it and keep working on it and keep working on it. The difference is this game launched, like Concord launched in 2024. We're looking at like what Xbox did with Sea of Thieves, and yes, that launched with, I feel like, could have had a lot more content at launch, but that launched in like 2015. And so it's built up a fan base and built up and added content over that time. And like, I would expect a game launching now to have a lot more in it for day one. And I hope Marathon is going to learn from Concord's mistakes and make sure that they're delivering a experience that gamers expect of a developer of their caliber. And based on the history of games that they've delivered in the past. But I just think the $40 price tag is a bit much, just knowing what they're going to do with it down the line. I hope it's a success because it's launching on every platform, so Xbox gamers will get to play it as well. And if it, what intrigued me about Destiny was the fact that it wasn't your standard shooter. It had that magical type of element to it with the different classes, and you had the void base, and you had I can't even think of half of them now. Anyway, but like it just added an extra element to it, and I don't know what Marathon's going to add to really intrigue people and really take away from what's already existing out there. They're going to have to do something very different, in my opinion. To really encourage gamers who are probably a little bit jaded by the amount of like microtransaction games out there and such. I know I'm definitely jaded by them. And so there's like, unless it's doing something different, and unless I'm hearing the hype from everyone else, I'm probably not going to touch Marathon. Just a fact.
Yeah, then when you got other games of the quality like the First Descendant coming out for free.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Really that's a good point. I forgot about First Descendant. That's another one. Like, yeah.
Yep.
They're in a sea of free to play games. You think people are going to go pay for this? No. Also, you got PlayStation Network, or excuse me, PSN Plus, whatever the hell they call it now, PS Plus. Why won't they ever add value to that by adding games like this to that? Things like this could easily be added to that and give you reason.
They should add that day one.
Yeah, stuff like this. They should have done that for Concord. I don't know why they didn't readjust when they saw the feedback. Also, too, one of the thoughts why I had doubts for this was one of the new reports was the internal feedback from playtesters was that it was somewhat, as they put it, somewhat positive. I don't want to hear somewhat positive if I just had a flop of a game at 200+ million or whatever it is, and you know, and the same price point and everything else. I don't want to hear that if I'm Sony, personally.
Well, I didn't want to hear and the gamers actually think it's worth the $40 price tag, because I'm like, who? What gamers? Like, because most of us are like, most games that I play, very rarely do I think they're worth the price tag that they are. I would always probably pick a different price tag and go, yeah. But again, that's also opinion based, because like we've all been playing video games for so many years that we've seen and played a variety of things to the point where unless something wows us, we're not going to go, oh, this is amazing and I think that's worth that price point. A lot of the games are sort of recycled and just reskinned and are doing something that has already been done. And so when games come out and do something that's never been done, that's where the hype train is. And I feel like PlayStation needs to iteratively come up with a concept that hasn't been done before. And that's going to be what's a success for them. But they're just copying everyone else. And that's kind of just, it's just sad. They're very, what's the word? Creatively bankrupt at the moment.
Yeah,
that's
the perfect term, man. They have no identity, man. They haven't for a while. So
Shout out to Jedi Knight Peter. Welcome.
Well, you
Welcome in the
let
chat.
Hiroki Totoki tell you they don't have any IPs.
Yep.
Hey, word
And
from
we
his
all
mouth, not mine. I've been saying it for years now. But
and we know they're sitting on a wealth of IPs. They're just not using them. And
They're
sometimes I think about,
remastering them instead.
oh my gosh, the hell, they're not even remastering them. They're not even tapping into the things that made Sony weird and different, and what you wanted to go and play and try. They're not even doing that. And I
Yeah.
understand there's so much money behind these games, and where the gaming industry is just falling into this trap of we have to make these big games, and the ideas for these big games, there seems to be, they're like losing these good ideas, and they're taking, like, we're not going to see a Plucky Squire at the AAA level. We probably won't, unless something hits really big, and then we'll see it. The only person who does, the only person, oh my gosh, the only Nintendo does it, but
Yep.
they can do it. It's Mario. Mario doesn't
Mario and
fail.
Zelda, man. Whew.
Mario and Zelda. I
cheat
mean,
codes.
yeah, but nobody else is doing it, and I mean, I understand, if you're spending, all this money on these games, you want to get that return on investment. And right now, I think they just don't want to stray away from what works. And then Sony and Microsoft has done it too. They're searching for that next big thing. Sony, it seems like they're really doing it with the 12 gas games that they have, but it got reduced to what, about 5 or 6 or so. And Helldivers, I guess, was one of them, which is, I guess, is it considered second party, not third party? So I'm not
Yeah.
sure what that was considered, but they're searching for this next big thing, and I just don't know if they're gonna hit it. I mean, just for gaming, I hope so. To try to be unbiased, but you know, Sony's got to figure something out. They have to figure something out, because I
I
tell
mean,
you what, that darn Spider-Man game that they canceled, that would have done well, because I would have been in there like,
Mhm.
let me figure something out. I can run around as Peter, as Miles, as Gwen, as Venom, and anybody else. Let me give this a shot, and they canned it. And then what else did they have? The one that everybody was panning for. Who was that? Persona.
Last of Us
Persona.
Factions.
Oh,
Where
yeah,
is
no.
Factions?
Factions. Yeah, that was Yeah, that was him, right? Yeah, where's Factions? So that would have done well in a shitty state. It would
I
have.
think so.
Folks would have
Yeah,
bought it. No, it would have in a
I
shitty
think
state,
so.
right?
Yeah. Hmm.
So I don't know. I hope they get it together, and I hope they do
Funny,
soon, because
funny that Bungie was the one that actually told the feedback of them to cancel that led to the cancellation, right?
Umbra, I was on my way. I was on my way, baby. It is funny that they are the ones that say, "Hey, this ain't working. Now this don't. I don't think this is that good." And look at them now. So I don't know. We'll see, man. That $3 billion that they spent on Bungie might
Bungie.
have been. I don't know.
Three
That
point
could
six
be.
billion dollars wasted
That could be
down the drain.
that might be the downfall. I mean, I'm not saying that about to fall off, but they got
Now,
to figure something out.
wouldn't you all feel a way though if you're like Insomniac or Naughty Dog and that you hear that and it's passed on that they relied on Bungie to clarify if you can actually get the budgeting to get that game that you've been working on to
I would.
pass? I feel a way too.
I would. I think, and they probably do internally. We won't know about it until they make a documentary about it, the way Xbox did. But maybe that has motivated them to really, stand 10 toes down and give us something dope on the next game or so that they're going to be able to have full creative control over. But we'll see, because here's the deal, Far Q, what's up, baby? Um, we'll see, because right now Hiroki Totoki is like, look, you all can make games, and he's probably second guessing that statement that he made, but he was like, y'all don't know how to make money. So right now he's like, y'all got to bring some money in. So he's trying to figure out, with he and Herman Host, how do we make money but make a dope game? Right now Hiroki wants that money, but you got to have a dope game to make the money. So what are we doing? So you got to let the creators create. So I don't know, man. This might be boot on neck for real. I know Mr. 98% is always hollering out boot on neck. This might be boot on neck internally for Sony. It might be. And this whole thing with Concord, this is tough. It's ugly. I think it's ugly. I think it's a lot uglier than what we as consumers and those who follow everything. I think this might be uglier than what we might even believe right now.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
would agree.
We'll see. We'll see.
Talking about PlayStation being in trouble, so Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered was rated by ESRB, so it's going to be available on PC and PS5. And obviously, it's already available. Like, the game launched in 2017, and it went to PC in 2020, and it was, I guess, the PC version had better frame rate, better what is that? Better load distances, but it was still PS4 assets or PS4 Pro assets. So it never really had a proper PC version where they could adjust everything and deliver the graphical fidelity that they wanted to. And now we're getting a PS5 remaster of this game as well. What are your thoughts on PlayStation delivering a remaster of a game that is less than 10 years old? Because it seems to be a continuous theme, and we make the joke on everyone makes the jokes on every podcast or on Twitter or anywhere about PlayStation becoming a remaster station. But yeah, Nero, do you want to lead us off with this topic and your thoughts on
You know exactly what you're doing every week.
Yeah, I know
all
exactly what I'm
26
doing.
all 26 episodes. I come on here and say how this is the most boring, creatively non-existent video game I have ever played. This game sucks on every front. It is absolutely trash. It is horrible. The fact that they also said that they was gonna remaster or remake Days Gone. I'm all for that. Bring it back, remake, remaster. Hopefully, get received better than originally, and maybe we can get a sequel for that. But to remake or remaster Horizon Zero Dawn is just I just couldn't do it. I don't understand how ponies can sit over there, look at these dumbass decisions, and say, "Yeah, I'm gonna still gawk Sony all day." Like I
So
just
many
don't
of
get
them are
it.
saying they're not going to pick this up. So many of them, because they're
I
like, I've
hope
already
they
played
don't.
it.
I
I'm
hope
not
it
picking
flop.
it up.
I hope it flop crazy. I know we say we don't want games to fail, but fuck that. This is one of where I do. It might be one in here in a blue moon where I say, you know what, that shit need to fail to send a message to the industry. This is one of them. This need to flop to oblivion to send Sony a message.
Yeah.
Now, you hold on there, partner, you young buck. Now, you stepping in that slander. I'm gonna sling some poo back at you now, son. You gotta hold your horses, as they say.
How long can you keep this up, Soul?
you gotta hold your horses now, son. There's a lot of slander over here with my hooved brethren. Help me out, Umbra. I can't get it together. But this enough is enough, young man. Now I can't take this week in and week out. I gotta stand 10 toes down, 4 hooves down for my brethren. I might wrangle them, but I love them. Hey, I can't do it. Say, I feel you. Ain't nobody buying this.
Nope.
Ain't nobody buying it. Ain't nobody buying it, man. I don't even know what they're doing here. If you know what they should have done, why didn't they show this for the PS5 Pro?
True.
The game is beautiful already.
Yeah.
Why didn't they show this? That showing was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. If you're gonna remaster this, show something that's already beautiful. So therefore, someone who is new coming in, they see, oh, PS5 Pro. Oh wow, let's look at. Oh wow, this is nice. I saw absolutely nothing during that presentation that made me just say, you know what? Let me go ahead and put down some money and go ahead. No, you know what that showing did for me? It made me say, you know what? 700. Okay. Instead of going back to the 5, I'm gonna take another 300 and go ahead and build this PC. And when your exclusives come over there day and date, because they're coming, I'll just get them there. And I'm good. And I can play them at whatever frame rate and mode that I want to do. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what it said for me. So they should have shown this right here because it's a beautiful game. And I think this would have made people say, you know what, maybe, but it's old. So this is only maybe capturing new people. But I think this is another cash grab because that damn Lego game is about to come out. And so I think hey, we'll get the kids. Let's get the parents too.
Yeah.
Maybe the parents will buy the console. Maybe the parents will buy this game. If they pack this game in again, I'm done. I'm done. I think I might scream. So who knows what they're doing with this? I don't even understand what their thought process is. And aren't they about to remaster
As long as
Days Gone?
they release the release date from software lines up their release date to be the same month.
Huh? Huh?
Like Elden Ring fucking destroyed Forbidden West. Sorry.
Oh my
Forbidden
gosh, it did. It did. It did. And
West.
unlike Nero, I actually liked the first game. Don't judge me, brother. Don't judge me.
A lot of people did like the
like
first game. Yeah.
well, I like
She had more
what
personality in the first game, I feel.
eh,
More.
but I like but I played the game. I played the game like a stealth game.
Oh,
And so that's why I dug it. And I
fair enough.
love yeah. I loved the story was cool. My man who just passed away was dope in there as well.
Lance
God, Lance,
Reddick, is it?
Lance Reddick. He was dope. I loved
Yes.
his character in there. And so that being said, I enjoyed the first one, but I'm not gonna lie. I cheesed some of it. I fell through the screen, got the upgraded armor, and I was invincible the whole game. So I was running around, yeah, man. I was running. I was running around that joint like Nick Cannon. You know what I'm saying? I was just, yeah, seed everywhere, baby.
I was
So
about to say you started populating the land.
yeah, baby. I wasn't even worried about a thing, man. I was over there just. I mean, literally, once you get that, it's the last armor for those who haven't played the game. It's the armor that you get towards the end of the game. I got it like, I don't know, maybe an hour or two or three or whatever it was within the game, and so I played pretty much unstoppable. So
Yeah.
and maybe that's why I had fun, because I was able to do whatever I wanted to do and literally take no damage. Like that the big one in the screen right now. Oh man, you could sit there and it could just, swipe at you and it was good to go. So I don't know. Maybe that's why I had fun, but I dug it as a stealth game. I really dug it. They had some good gameplay mechanics that I liked. It was, to me, it was very reminiscent of, excuse me, some of the great Ubisoft games that I like to
You
play.
trying to convince us or convince yourself?
No, brother. No. Oh, see. Now you coming at me.
No,
See,
I'm
this
just.
we about to have. See, forget that
Yeah,
pony
look,
civil war. We about to go to war.
we all like trash games, man. I like some like. Hey, the way I
Ooh.
feel about this game is the way a lot of people feel about Days Gone. I really like that game. I'm excited for that remaster if it's true.
Yeah, but I wonder how that one dev. I wonder how he's feeling right about now.
Hey,
It's
it's
Yep.
like
been
a
He
double
also
whammy.
for sure. He's
This
definitely. I wouldn't be
got to be
sure
a
about
double whammy on him.
it. Yeah.
Bro,
You
are you
know.
picking this up on PC, this remaster of Horizon Zero Dawn?
I don't really see the need for it. I still haven't really played through the first one. I got it on PS4. What I played, I was like, and so I don't know. I have to think on it. What I will say though is this is a problem that Sony has created themselves, and again, it goes back to what I was just saying a while ago to Chris, where they keep doing this not only because our Who brothers keep showing them, yeah, we'll pay for it, we'll do this. Not only because of that, but because these types of games are the ones that sell best for them. Abandoned
They do.
diversity for the sake of these types of heavy sellers. You know what I mean? And that's part of the problem for them. So it's led to a kind of a what feels like a creative bankruptcy, I guess, creatively, right? And that's what it
Yeah.
That's what it led to. You got remakes already of what Spider-Man. You got it, The Last of Us Part 1 and 2, which 2 was ridiculous to have remastered that soon. Um, you got Until Dawn,
Yep.
and now you got this right
Mm.
here. So, and of course, Days Gone. Now, Days Gone is a little older, but I don't even know if that
Days Gone
necessarily
did
did
Days
it.
Gone go to PC? It did.
I would say it
Yeah,
would
it
make
did. I
sense
have it on PC
Yeah.
myself.
if DZ
Yeah.
Masters was to go to other screens. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate to be that guy, but I feel like Until Dawn not coming to Xbox, like Sony not in a position they think they are to keep for even themselves to be skipping platforms. Like your games don't sell. Like, come on now.
Things have changed. Yeah, the landscape has
Yeah.
changed, and I don't know. I know Sony wants to stick to the kind of traditional model of delivering exclusives and all that.
Yeah.
And I think they're gonna eventually have had this discussion with a few other people. Shout out to my brother K Asante, who me and him agreed. Like at a point, it's going to come down to them having to go day and date on PC. You see
I
some of
think
these.
this is one of those instances, though. Like, it's
Yeah.
announced for the rating for PC and PS5, so it should be launching day one on PC for this.
I can see that, and it will make
Because
sense
it's
for
already
them to
launched
do
on
it.
PC, right?
Yeah, so this will be the remaster for it, but it's kind of silly to keep saying, remaster again. It feels like the meme will never die for them. But this is a problem created by Sony, and it's a problem embraced by our Hoove brothers. That if they want less of this, they would have to stop buying it. It's just that simple.
My concern here is it's just PlayStation being more PlayStation. We saw with the PS5 with a lot of games, they charged an upgrade fee. And the PS5 patch for Horizon Zero Dawn enabled 60 FPS in the game. And now they're charging you to actually take full advantage of what's available under the PS5 chassis. Obviously, the PS5 Pro in that instance. And they're also charging PC gamers again to get access to a version which they can just edit the settings in and deliver based on the performance of the rigs that they have. And so it just feels like more money hatting around, like, well, not money hatting, but more like just screwing over their consumer base and going, all right, well, you've already paid for this game, you got a free 60 FPS patch, now we're going to charge you to actually take full advantage of your system. It's
So that's part of that's
concerning.
what I was saying, is that the base is going to have to reject this type of stuff. One
They're
thing
gonna have to.
I have loved about the Xbox community at times is that when Xbox did things we didn't like, or Microsoft, if you will, we voiced our dissension. We were like, "Oh, we don't like this," and they had to revert or change things, or at least address it, right? And you have to vote by your wallet. And a lot of our Hoove brothers, this is part of why I said I thought the PS5 Pro would do well, is because they are loyal to a fault.
No,
And
the only time it's doing well now is based on that 30th anniversary version or edition. That is where the Pro's going to sell
That's
well.
where it really
Other than
picked
that,
up. They were going to do
that
well
is the
regardless.
only time. But I'm like, so you're willing, just because you're getting this version of the PS5 console or Pro console, to spend $700 on it when before you weren't willing to spend that money. So you actually,
they were going to get it regardless.
They were going to get it regardless. They just couldn't be honest to themselves.
They couldn't be honest. They had to deny it because they know it was looking negative. The general thought
still
was
wouldn't
it being
get it
negative.
for that.
Yeah, that's because me and you have common sense. But a lot of our Hoove brothers, listen, I'm not going to tell anybody what to do with their money, but a lot of them are extremely loyal to a fault, to where they will buy all these peripherals, they'll buy all these devices that Sony put out just because it's Sony. I've seen them talk like this. I know that's what they do. And to their point, I mean, to be fair, I think the Pro is decent in ways. It's not something I would buy.
Diminishes the results you're going to get from the PS6, I reckon.
Sure, but I do expect the next gen to be crazier than this gen. The leap, personally.
And I agree. Sarah Bonds already hinted at that too.
And that's why I'm kind of happy that they did this, because to me this pushes us further next gen. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be closer to us having that PC kind of console ecosystem across both.
But at that price point, why I know people prefer console gaming, but at that price point, it's like you're hitting a market where it's actually just, if you're wanting to run and chase graphics, you should just go after a PC.
That, though. They love
My biggest issue with the Pro, though, and I said it the other week, was the lackluster CPU. In comparison, it's not going to deliver what people want it to deliver because it's the same CPU.
And they can't change it because then the other games won't work on it. So they have to keep this bottleneck by design. But just to say, for what I find really odd, I don't know if it's some type of contractual issue or whatnot, but Fans, and they would buy this, by the way. Hell, I would see myself possibly even buying it. What happened to Bloodborne? Why didn't they
Uh-oh.
remaster that?
That
Would
is
be fun.
one that they need
That's
to.
one everyone is
That's what they want.
clamoring for right
And they
there.
need to
Yeah.
bring it to PC.
Bring it to PC, remaster it, and bring out a new version of that thing will sell like hotcakes. I don't see why they keep going like to stuff like this or Last of Us. Well, I get why, to be fair, but instead of rehashing these, go to something like that what fans have wanted and demanded. Go to your library of IP that we were just speaking on a minute ago, and bring those forward and remaster and remake them. Do what the Capcoms of the world have done. Sony has way too much IP. It'd be like Warner Brothers sitting here talking about they don't have anything to pull from.
Well, their IP's on ice though. They need to thaw it out and use it.
Yeah, that's it. And they have so much, but that's why I say that's part of what I was pointing out, that they've abandoned that diverse mindset and just focus on heavy hitters that's going to sell, as our Who brothers would say, the bangers that's going to sell well. That's been their modus operandi, should I say.
They changed their fan base to focus on pixel counts and everything like that rather than gameplay. So it was 1080p makes you a better gamer. And it was all about the visuals. And it's like, actually, if the game doesn't play well, fuck the visuals. The game's dead in the water, in my opinion. And so it's just frustrating to see that. I'm so annoyed about another remaster from PlayStation. It's really concerning knowing that Jim Ryan looked at 26 gas games and most of them have been cancelled, and the money they've put into that hasn't gone into like single player or even a little like co-op player games. And so they're having to heavily rely on third party and second party developers to get them through because they don't have anything. They have no roadmap for their first party. They're cancelling everything that was in their roadmap because it's not going to deliver what the fan base wants. We've seen Black Myth Wukong and we've seen Space Marines come out here and sell very well and get a lot of praise from the community because these are the games that we're after. But alternatively, PlayStation is just like, oh, we've got these games that did really, really well. We're just going to repackage them and deliver them to you again. That just screams you have nothing. And as a person who wants to know like what I'm looking forward to in the future for games I'm going to be playing, I wouldn't invest in that ecosystem at all, knowing that there's nothing in the future that they're telling me is coming. There's a couple of games, but really there's nothing there to go, all right, I can see what I'm going to be playing for the next 10 years and such. Like when Xbox announced the acquisition of like so many studios back in like 2017 and then more studios again like a year later, and then they picked up Bethesda and then they picked up Activision and Blizzard. You can just kind of look at that and go, all right, I've got an idea of what the roadmap is going to be and how many games they're going to be able to deliver. And that is what a system or ecosystem, if I wanted to play on first party and play first party, because that's why they're at PlayStation. They talked about exclusives. They talked about first party till they went blue in the face. PlayStation is not delivering that this generation. They had a few games at the beginning of the generation. They're now got nothing left in the tank. It's just kind of upsetting. And so that's what their remasters are for, because they need them to get them through. They need them to get them through. But it's diminishing returns because you can only get someone to pay for that game so many times. It's not a Zelda game. It's not a Mario game where you might remaster a game for like, what is it? Ocarina of Time, for example, that remaster that came out on the 3DS. You have the remaster of Skyward Sword. You have so many remasters from like the older versions of their games that come forward and put them to modern, and people will go back for those IPs because it's a beloved franchise. These aren't beloved franchises.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's
not in the same way that Nintendo is.
But that's part of why I said something that fans are clamoring for is for Bloodborne, and they've done this already, by the way, just to point out, because I know that I see some of the chat. Shout out to P, shout out to Rhetri. They were saying it might not be the worth the squeeze, as he put it, for FromSoft, but FromSoft doesn't have to do a thing. They have Bluepoint. Bluepoint made the remake for Dark Demon Souls, and that did exceptionally well for PlayStation. They can literally have them do that and make a crazy remake for Bloodborne in-house the studio they use. No need to mess with From Software at all to get that done.
And they got Nexus 2 could do the PC port.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is probably the best acquisition they've had, Nexus. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that there are
Yeah.
ways to do it, and they'd have to reconfigure their fan base's mind. Again, they've gone away from the diversity thought. They want these games that's going to sell the hundreds of the tens of millions or bring in hundreds of millions, should I say, and sell millions of copies. It's a better way to say it. And that's why they're doing what they're doing and contracting out with Marvel and Disney.
Well, I think a lot of the community is also sick of like PlayStation just money heading, and they're like, if you want to compete, have those games end up on that, and you compete first party. Then we know that PlayStation isn't going to get rid of exclusives anytime soon. They're not moving away 100% from the console model of the way that they sell their software and engage with their consumer base in that regard. They're not ready to turn the page and move forward and as to where gaming is heading. But even like making agreements with some of the cloud services game, like Nvidia with the GeForce Now, put some games on those cloud services. Do something, because you're not really doing anything with your PS Plus. I would love if they put this remastered game into PS Plus. They really need to sell people on why they should subscribe to it, other than the fact that they want cloud saves. That's the only reason why I would ever think to subscribe to PS Plus, and I think that's a bullshit thing, putting their cloud saves behind a paywall.
You, Panda, you have been on it tonight. You and Infinite have been going back and forth. It's like it's sitting over here watching a beautiful tennis match. You know what I mean? And I'm over here just like, okay, damn, that was good too. Okay, well, shit, I'm just gonna shut up. Okay, all right. Because I'm over here just like, this is awesome. Hey, real quick, I don't know if this was like really a bot or someone who was in the chat here, right? And and I think things happen for a reason. I was whoever that was, or some time back, they were talking about the hat and it being whatever it was, and something about being American and all this other foolishness. And I don't know who it was here, taking off the idiotic hat on this occasion. You probably weren't in. It's part of a skit. I don't owe you that, but I'm gonna tell you that. And I kind of wanted to give you my best Dirt Griggity, because Dirt will tell anyone in the chat who is not being friendly or whatnot where they can go and how they can get there. But I'm not going to do that, because the discourse was really, really good. You do have the option, if you are still in this chat though, ma'am or sir, to excuse yourself or mute yourself or whatever you need to do. We don't need your negativity. We love positivity here, and we want to breed positivity. But I will tell you this though.
Channel, I
And
seen
and,
that.
and so I'm just gonna say like this, I am there, and I'm not gonna get into any politics, because we could all talk about that all day. But I live here. So what you're not gonna do is talk about anything American over here. And I'm gonna leave it at that. So I'm glad that you blocked whoever that was, because the hat is silly. It doesn't fit what we're doing, but it is a skit. And so if you're there but you're listening or whatever, you said you blocked them. Hey, you're welcome to come back, try again next week. But those blocking fingers still work. We're gonna keep it moving. They'll work next week as well. Now back to this beautiful tennis match. I think it's 40-40. Let's go.
I don't think I have anything else to add on this. Nero, do you have anything else?
Nah, I don't give a damn about this game, and I feel like it's a waste of resources.
I knew Nero was going in like that. Was like, yeah, he's like,
not.
I don't.
He's like, fuck this game, burn it to the ground.
Just to add, like to the point, I guess, like I said with Bloodborne, Bloodborne it sold originally at like 7.46 million, roughly 8 million copies, right?
Okay.
I imagine they would get close to that, if not more, with a remaster,
Especially
or remake. I would say remake in general. Yeah, do a remake for that. I wouldn't even say remaster it. Just do a remake for that, and something like that I think could really do well for them. So I don't know why they're not doing that, personally.
Yeah, I you know what? I don't understand it either. And I remember when Bloodborne. Well, thank you about the hat. Actually, guys, I picked this up today from Party City. It's not a hat that I actually own. Like I went out to
Yeah, I
purchase
thought
this
it was a
hat.
real
This
hat.
No, this was just this cat cost me like $15 at Party City, just
Oh,
because I was out and about, and I was like, you know what, we're gonna be talking about shattered ponies. Let's get in there and have some fun today. A little skitty skit. I didn't tell Panda. I didn't tell Nero. They're probably
You
gonna
don't
chop
need
my
to.
ass
I
off
love
about
it.
it later. But I thought it was kind of funny or whatever, off-brand humor. But no, you guys are absolutely right. I think Bloodborne would be an awesome addition. I didn't get into Bloodborne, but I will say this. I thought when Bloodborne released, it almost made me pick up a PS4. It almost made, because I was like, oh, this looks different. This looks different. Now, I will say this, because I probably would have been so frustrated at that game, because the last game that made me, because I hear tales of Bloodborne and how difficult it was, and what people did and what they didn't do. The last game that made me that upset or bothered was Ninja. I'm going to pronounce it the best way I can. Ninja Gaiden, probably Ninja Gaiden, but was it Ninja Gaiden Black? It was the original Xbox, and when I tell you, I actually threw my controller several times because I was that frustrated. And I said to myself, I'm not doing that again. I'm not doing it again. But Bloodborne did look like a game that I was interested in, but Elden Ring though, I don't know if it's because of what they allowed for us to do, and with the addition of, you had a little in-game help. Elden Ring was fun as hell, and I
Yeah.
enjoyed it outside of the last boss. The last boss was shit.
yeah, I
So,
didn't
and I'll
like that
stand on
damn
that.
dolphin boss
And
either.
Melania, I still can't.
They
I
cheated me,
just
by
let
the
it go
way.
because she wasn't a required boss, and I let her go.
You
I let her
didn't
go
want the
because
smoke
she
with
was
the
just
Rock Queen,
she
huh?
had that she has that she had the double whop 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 whop, and every time it's like I'm good, and she would just take me out, and
She,
I'm like I'm tired of resetting and
she's stopping
resetting and
you up,
reset.
huh?
No, dude. No, that was the one. I'd have her down, and next thing you know, she hit me with the 1-2, and it was a wrap. It was like Tyson. It was like once he hits you once or twice, it's over. It's
Yeah, the
over. And so
uppercut.
I had to
Yeah,
let that go, and I was like, she ain't required. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'll stay away from Melania. I'm good with that. So,
she laid me
we'll
down
see.
about 40
But
plus times, so I get you.
bro, I didn't even bother. Hey, but going back, what you guys were talking about too, with all when you were talking about all this stuff here and Sony being bankrupt, there was an article, and I don't have it. I think it's on my phone somewhere. I'll try to pull it up later, but we'll be well past this. There was an article by, I think it was Kotaku, and they were talking about how there was, and I mentioned this maybe a week or so ago, how in Astrobot there are no noticeable PS5 generation characters in the game. Now, not playing the game, I don't know how accurate that is. But they were saying that, and but they were trying, what they were really saying is there was nothing notable. There was nothing from this generation that they deemed worthy to put in that game. Everything was all nostalgia. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, that's telling. And then we're looking at everything that's going on, and they just will not bank on Bloodborne. I don't understand that, because they do own the IP. FromSoft probably doesn't want to touch it. Umbra, you made great points about, well, they have other folks who could. So what is the deal, and why won't they go there? I just don't understand that. I wonder if they're
They're
just
probably still
they're not,
salty over Forbidden West.
maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand that. But that was one of the first things that I thought was like, okay, how come Bloodborne isn't there? Because people love that damn game. You would think it would be
Mm,
there, but it's not.
I'm a
And
bit
I
like a
just
cult
don't
hit. Yeah.
understand that. So I don't know. We shall see. But hey, tears, cry on.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right. Okay. I am going to put the feed the panda up so we can, and then head out because I have stuff to do, and it also is getting to my lunchtime. So very quickly, Diablo 4 has made over $1 billion in revenue and over 150 million in microtransactions alone. And that is
Well deserved. Well deserved.
yeah. It's a
Yep,
good
big
game.
Diablo fan. It is,
It's a good
but I
game.
still won't buy any of those damn. I'm not messing with the
Microtransactions.
transfer. Nah, I'm not. Ain't doing it. No.
I don't buy them either. No, they
No.
haven't sold me on anything that I think is worth.
I've been getting the
purchasing.
battle passes. I definitely like the battle passes.
I think that's your probably better bet is to get the battle passes. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 We've got Xbox Tokyo Game Show coming up as well, and I'm trying to
What is that,
remember.
next Thursday?
Yeah, 26th
Something like
next
that.
Thursday, which will be next Friday for myself. And so Phil Spencer's really wanting us to tune in. They're actually going to have a what is it? I can't think of the word for it, but they're going to have a booth or floor presence, and I assume we're going to get some announcements from them. Hopefully, some more games like Japanese style games at the Tokyo Game Showcase. So I'm definitely tuning in. We'll probably be talking about it at next week's episode. So I just want to kind of remind everyone that that's top of mind and do tune in and watch the Tokyo Game Show for the Xbox showcase there.
Definitely.
Bold prediction. Handheld. Perfect time to do it. I know. Hey,
Especially yes.
don't do it on. Do not give Keely anything else. You know what? I do that. I drop the handheld. At least mention it, or show it, or whatever, and give him the crumbs. Give him the crumbs. But I wouldn't give him the whole. Hey, one more thing. I wouldn't give him any of that. I would do it then. That's me.
Yeah.
Because I'm petty.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I do not blame you. I do not blame you at all. Lastly, and I think this is a topic that's been very top of mind, and I will share my screen for this one as well, and I'll pop it up on screen. Might even play some audio so you can hear it. Is just news about more news coming out about Concord. So about 2 weeks ago, it was announced that the PlayStation had lost $200 million on the game. It's actually more like 400 million. And Colin Moriarty kind of talked about it through a source. Why is it playing? I didn't want it to play just yet. But while I get that up and ready, does anyone, Nero, do you want to add to that around sort of? Yeah, I'm just trying to do two things at once. People, my brain is failing at it.
Yeah, my internet is really tweaking over here. I'm on my end, it's freezing and stuff. So if you guys can hear me quick, I'm gonna say my part quick just in case I have to leave if it goes out and stuff. But I'm surprised it cost that much. Just a big waste, man. Sony can't budget right. They first parties they can't budget. 2 budget was way over what it should have been, what it cost for, in my personal opinion. This is wild. If it's true, now we gotta take this with a grain of salt because he is the only person saying this. So until we get more people confirming this behind the scenes or coming to speak out, this is a big loss for Sony, man. If this was Microsoft losing this money, this is a lot of money even for them to lose, and they're in a way better position to lose sad money. So, yeah, that's tough, man. It'll be interesting to see how they recover from this. I don't know if they gonna have to lay off people. I'm not sure what they're gonna have to do, but some changes is gonna have to come and some heads is gonna have to roll. This is a huge loss. Huge L.
It is a 9-minute video, so I don't want to play the whole thing, but I'm just going to very quickly press play, and hopefully my system likes me today. Can you hear?
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I was just laughing at Part Q. It's not. We can't hear it, Panda.
Skip ahead. Lol.
Panda, did you hear me? We can't
What?
hear it.
You can't hear it?
The video. No,
Okay.
I can't.
You can. They can't.
No, I don't think they can. Jedi says he can't either.
Okay, 1 second. I'll try that again. Should be playing. Let's try this again.
Mm-hmm.
Share.
Well,
Also share audio. Yeah.
welcome
Also share
back
audio.
to that same old place that we laughed about.
Welcome back.
All right.
Mhm.
Let me know if you can hear it now.
For a long time.
There we go.
And got some, I think, interesting information that I can share about Concord. And I think people will be interested about it. The reason that I wanted to talk about it is because some of the assumptions that I had made about the game were dead wrong as far as how much it cost and how much Sony really lost on it. So the big thing that you really need to know here about this is that Concord cost about $400 million to make.
Oh my God.
And the story goes that Concord, by the time Concord was, so in the first quarter of 2023, Concord had basically entered an alpha state. This was before Sony had even purchased the team. But Sony had been working with Probably Monsters, and which was the original owner of Firewalk and Firewalk, probably since late 2020, maybe 2021 at the latest on Concord. The game was in development before that. Up to the point that the game went into alpha state, they had already spent about $200 million on it. And it's unclear how much of that money is from Probably Monsters and the original investors into the game and how much of that money was from Sony. There's this term in product development, not only with games, but really with everything. You can like manufacture a tchotchke. You guys might have heard of it. It's called minimum viability or a minimum viable product. Mm-hmm. The idea behind this, or MVP, the idea behind this is that this is like what you're trying to achieve. And it's like, once you cross this barrier, you feel comfortable selling it. It's not that it's the best it can be or that it's what it's going to be by the time you launch it, because there's all sorts of extra stuff you do to it. But like, this is the minimum viability of the product. When the game had already had $200 million spent on it and was basically in an alpha form in quarter one of 2023, from that point until the game launched, Sony spent another $200 million on it.
That's insane. This is probably, and as Nero was saying, is the biggest loss around, like, for a studio, like for PlayStation ever, and I think for this year as a whole. Like $400 million spent on a game that closed down after 2 weeks.
2 weeks. I think like 12 days. Ridiculous.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Not a good look. Not a good look.
Not a good look. And I know most of us will probably have listened to that, but I'm going to throw to Umbra, who is our fantastic guest this week. Would you want to chuck your 2 cents in after hearing like about Colin? You can even talk about the rest of what's on that video as well, because I don't want. It's 9 minutes, so it is a long video. Yeah.
Yeah. So seeing that right there had me kind of like bugging out. I'm like, wait a minute, how much? It's tough to say, and I took his word a bit. I'll be honest, I didn't take it with a grain of salt, I should say. I kind of took him at his word because I know he has good sources. He's connected with Sony and people over there, so I was kind of like, okay, I can believe it. It's a wild claim, but then some things don't add up because it's like, that much for this? It doesn't seem like it will cost that much for this. For live service games, I know they're doing, CGI and everything. They have contracted people, and it's supposedly been in development since 8 years back, and maybe they're factoring in the cost of actually acquiring a studio. I'm not sure.
Well, they said this was on the video. Colin talks about this 400 million was not inclusive of the cost of them purchasing the studio Firewalk either.
Yeah, and that's where it starts to feel like I don't think they put that much into it. It's crazy if it is true, if it turns out to be true, because we got a lot of sleuths online right now diving through the records, and they're coming up with, no, this is not right. It should be slightly under 200 million, et cetera, et cetera. We don't officially know. But what I will say is that him saying that so confidently, and then you had somebody else come out from Kotaku, Ethan Gotch. He says he can corroborate. He can corroborate part about the toxic positivity. He says some sources he's spoken to have blamed the head in the sand mentality carried over from Bungie Studios roots. in a sense that the game would come together because the team was too good to fail. Now, to be fair, he didn't speak directly to the cost, but he didn't deny that this could be the case either, as far as what Colin claims, the 400 million. I'll say this: I don't know if it is indeed a $400 million loss. You can bet a few things. One, it would be the highest bomb in entertainment history. That's across any form of media, be it movies or whatever. That's the biggest
That
bomb.
part.
That would be one. That's part of why I'm like, I
Sure.
don't know. Now we're hearing from Colin. He was saying it was supposed to be their Star Wars and Herman Holst's baby, and he fought for this. If that is the case, and Herman Holst fought for this, and it
Come on.
cost even
Come on.
200 million, Herman Holst is likely going to lose his job.
They're not calling them
Gone.
out. They're not even calling him and going, fire them.
They don't have to say anything. But the Toki and them, they're looking down at him like, you have failed us.
Hey.
They're going to get him. If that is
My man
indeed
is gone
true.
like in sync.
Oh, yeah, he's gone
Outta
bye, for sure. If that is
My
true,
God,
even if
hey,
200 million,
like Otani, baby. 50-50. He's gone. He's out of here.
yeah, there you go. Shout out to Otani. But if it is indeed a fact that it was even 200 million, let's just stick to 200, because the 400 million sounds so ridiculous that if they did that, I don't know what to say. But 200 million alone is an insane number, right? So let's say it's 200 million. That tells us a few things. Firewalk Studio is likely going under. Unfortunately, I've said this on my podcast as well. I hate that it's going to happen, but some of those people, if not, the entire studio is going to be closed down. If it is
It took
indeed
them 8 years to get to the state that the game was at the launch. So I don't think we're going to see this game again.
well, no, but even beyond that, if it is indeed Herman Holst's fault, I know he's a co-CEO, whatever, and however they're running it with him and I forgot, is it
They split it.
Nagatoni?
He's the game side and the other guy's the hardware.
Yeah, right. I think his name is it Nagatoni or something like that. I forgot. But he's likely going to be the sole head of gaming if this is indeed Herman Holst's baby right here, because they're going to have to look and say, this is what you had us put these hundreds of millions into. Sony, look, Microsoft doesn't like losing hundreds of millions. You think Sony, who is a fraction of Microsoft, would care to lose 200 million? And if Lord forgive if it's 400 million, again, you're going to see massive layoffs if that is the case. I just don't know. I'll stick to the 200 million because it seems more realistic. If that is indeed the case, you can expect to hear some layoffs very soon.
Definitely, very soon.
Very
Hey, Soul, can you comment in the chat so I can make you a moderator real quick?
Oh, comment? Yeah, because I'm commenting and it comes up as old Rhetri there. Let me see here. Let me give y'all a little Texas.
Yeah. So to that point, I don't know. I'm interested in seeing the actual facts, because there's a lot of speculation, a lot of people trashing Colin right now, saying that he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's claiming something that he did this for the cloud,
Hey,
etc.
Soul, you got a comment from your personal on your phone because you comment on
okay.
the Game Pass daily. What up, yo? What up, yo?
Hold on.
I added
Give
a
me a
few
second.
other moderators, man. Faces that's always around. Becca, if you choose to. Jedi Peter. FRQ Ben, a menace moderator. You know what I'm saying? Threw it out the lyric. You know.
Hey, you know what, Umbra? I haven't really been in these Twitter streets the last couple of days, man, and so I haven't seen how the stable has been responding to Colin. But what you're saying, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, because it's like, if your guy who you basically, you just regurgitate his speaking points, and that's what a lot of them do, right? If he's saying, look, I talked to a few people, I verified some things, I basically wouldn't put this out there unless it was true. If he's like, yo, they messed up, this was a failure, it is what it is, they need to fix this, why not believe him? He's not. I mean, you might like him, you might not, but he don't do a whole lot of clickbait type stuff, man. So I'm kind of like, the Civil War. I'm trying to tell you, man, it's popping off when you think of the console war type stuff. It's a shame that they, are that entrenched into whatever Sony does. They cannot be at fault. They can't be wrong. They can't make mistakes, and that they won't even listen to this dude. And like, yo, this is what they've done. It costs a lot of money. It's surprising, but it's not surprising, and it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. So
Yeah.
we're gonna see. This is going to get interesting. It's gonna get a little uglier.
My biggest issue is the fact that like they weren't able to talk or critique the game or call out anything that wasn't working with it. And the fact, like, that's insane, that toxic positivity, like, and because it was Herman Holt's baby, and like then they went and purchased the studio. But like, if you listen to the video and he talks about this, and obviously they're going to get to the bottom of how much, like, all the truth in behind this, because a lot of people are intrigued by Colin's comments, is just listening to him talk about the fact that the state of the game that they had when they announced it, and the fact that they hadn't really thought about the microtransactions. They hadn't really thought about how people were going to select any characters. This game had been in development for 6 years prior to like the acquisition from Sony, right? And for 6 years they had a bare bones game. The characters were a very bland and nonchalant and just boring. And that's the sort of feedback that needed to take place and needed to happen. If you're going to deliver a hero shooter in the same realm because you're chasing that trend that was Overwatch and other hero shooters as well, you really need to do something. Like, yes, it's a fun experience at its core of what it was, but you can't just deliver the minimal viable product and then go, we're going to keep tacking it on and keep tacking it on and keep tacking it on. Like I said, this isn't 2015. 2015 would have been fine. There's plenty of time to add things on, but a lot of games are delivering and launching with a lot more of a product at launch than what was delivered with Concord. And if 400 million is how much they've had to spend on this game, holy shit, someone is going bye-bye. And I really hope Herman Holst has the realization that he contributed to this massive failure. Massive failure. I'm also curious to know what like Bungie thought of the game. Like if they're like, yeah, this is it, I'll be like, that $3.6 billion acquisition is looking like getting more pear-shaped by the minute. Yeah, it's shocking, and I don't want to talk bad about like a game or a developer or anything like that, but 8 years in development and that's the product you deliver. No wonder no one supported the game.
Yeah.
And we talk about supporting the devs, we talk about supporting the game, we talk about a hobby that we love. But you also have to really think about who the product is for and who's going to love it more than you do. Because we know that gamers love products more than some of the developers do by the fact that the modding community exists. They love a game so much, they never want to stop playing it. They want to mod it and make it their own and add things to it and expand on that universe. But this is a game that wasn't going to do it.
No.
Sad fact.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I was looking at Jedi Knight's comment about being tone deaf to invest that much into Concord.
Yep.
And I'm wondering if they really push the investments some fresh ideas, and of course it is
Thank you, FarQ.
Thank you, fuck
For
you.
the 4 months of membership. Appreciate you, brother.
maybe they look like, hey, you know what, this is a chance for us to get into gas games, make some make some money off of this, but then we need to start moving some of these IPs in a different direction. We are doing the same thing over and over again. So maybe they were leaning that way to say we need to do something different, but this just wasn't it. And if that whole toxic positivity thing is true about, hey, you can't say anything bad about it, that is a tough situation right there, because when you look at some of those character designs, at least the ones that I saw, that wasn't going to get it. Now, who knows what maybe they had in store, and where they wanted to go, but they didn't even get a chance to, and it's really a sad situation. So I don't know. Like I said earlier, I just really hope that Sony can find a way to rectify whatever this is, or bounce back from this, because like I say, no doom and gloom. They'll figure it out. I mean, they have this, all this time, but they've got to maybe stay the course until they can figure out a way to bring their fans into something new, and otherwise, maybe, gosh, dog, it just sounds crazy. When King Dave was always talking about no more PlayStation, no more PS6, no PS6 if they have a PS5 Pro, and all these other things. When you hear it, you're like, okay, Dave, yeah, you're talking shit. It sounds good. It's this, that, and the third. But when you start looking at things that are kind of unfolding right now, you're like, well, damn, how far off is he? I mean, if they do have a 6, will they have a 7 or whatever that may be called? Will they make it to that generation? I mean, I know that we've heard talks about a 6 coming up here or whatever, but what if this 5 doesn't hit, doesn't hit at all? It's very niche as it is. Only so many people buy those pro consoles. But what if it really doesn't even meet that expectation? I wonder where they
I don't
go
think
from
it's going to
there.
meet sales figures. I think the PSVR didn't. The Portal, I don't understand why that managed to sell anything based on what they delivered. And even their peripherals, like the fact that you bought peripherals at the beginning of the PlayStation 5 generation, you buy a Portal and you have to buy new peripherals just to use your Portal unless you plug in your headset. Like,
Right.
there's some just really anti-consumer things going on at PlayStation. They are a business at the end of the day. They don't always listen. They do have to do things, but a business at the end of the day does not invest another $200 million into a game that is clearly not delivering.
Yeah, they didn't recover any of that.
What the hell's happening with management?
And how much did they pay for Firewall?
No one, I don't know.
So it's like Colin said, that's 400 million plus the price of entry for them.
Yeah. And
That's
you've
a
got the
lot of
fact,
dough.
like, if that studio doesn't close down and they start a new project, you're looking at a minimum of 5 years before you see another game from that studio, right?
Do they become a support studio at this point, you guys think?
Who knows? Who knows? Maybe they revitalize factions and then the studio takes a crack at it, because like I know the Naughty Dog said that they couldn't do the live service. If they wanted to do factions, it would be all that they could deliver on, because that's how much time and energy goes into delivering a live service style game.
So that's the silver lining.
Who knows?
Gotcha.
It feels like it's PlayStation from PS3 generation. Arrogant.
That arrogance.
Thinking that their product is going to sell just
arrogance was
by name alone, and
something
yes,
else.
it has, but there's only so much you can do before the consumer goes, "What are you actually giving me?" And maybe I'm not going to put any more money. I've spent enough now. I'm going to stop until you convince me otherwise. Yeah. Anything else anyone wants to
Okay, so
add?
Sony is out here with that. Sony's out here with that big red energy. Okay, well, everything was going good until they ran over Jimmy. Okay, well, some of y'all might know that, some of y'all might not.
They had to get rid of
Big
Jimmy.
Red was
though.
good
They
until he
had to
ran
get
over
rid of
Jimmy.
Jim. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Okay,
For me,
good deal.
again, it just comes down to people being let go, fortunately. But I feel like either Firewalk is going to be closed down or it's just going to be massive layoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a bit of both.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably a bit of both. It's gonna be a little hectic around here. Hey, well, at least it gives us some something to talk about.
I thought they
And so I'm
studios, Pete.
say what now?
Sony have brought Haven, Firewalk, and Bungie, and none have paid off. Yeah, I agree. We're still waiting to see what Haven delivers.
Haven does with fair game. So
Yeah.
we will see. I tell you what though, my main interest is figuring out how to get this PC built. Let me be selfish right now. Xbox in their handheld, and how I am going to play all of these games as they hit Game Pass in the
Thank you for
next
asking.
few weeks. So that is what I am majorly concerned about. And I hopefully, as a gamer, and you have Game Pass, you are too. Maybe not the PC part, but at least the Game Pass part. Trying to figure out how I am going to play all these games in this short amount of time.
Well, there's plenty of games coming, and plenty of games next year, and we've got lots of games coming in the future.
Oh
If you're
yeah.
an Xbox gamer and you subscribe to Game Pass, you're going to be eating good, or even on PC. PC's where it's at. All right, we're gonna shut up shop. We're gonna do some outros, and then we're gonna head out for the rest of the week, and then we'll see you all back here next week. We're gonna start off with our fantastic guest, Infinite Umbra. Where can people find you? And thank you so much for joining us this week. I've appreciated having you on. You're just a good vibe, good energy.
Always.
Thank you for having me. As a special guest, I have just one request. It's not major, just one request.
What is that, sir?
If you could unmod Jedi Knight Peter, I just don't want him having that over me. Just make him. He threatened to erase all my messages, and I believe he might go for it. So I just want him not to have the power.
You're fine. Pete won't do that because he'll upset me. He won't do it.
No one man should have all that power, Panda.
Hey, I know that's right. That is what's up. Oh, hey, Umber, real quick. Hey, man. Okay, so I gotta ask one thing. It is a little jokey joke, sir.
Yes.
This goes back to my original comment that one night on Twitter. How many times did you have to blow into that controller?
One time.
Now you get the joke. One time, too many. Okay, there you go.
Yes. I'll be honest. Playing the Astrobot, I did not feel comfortable doing that at all. I'm looking around like I'm being judged when I played that part. I'm like, why I gotta blow into this damn controller? Yeah. I almost turned the fan on and let it do it, but that's how bad I felt. But no, they had a few moments in the game where you had to do that. I was not comfortable at all doing it. I promise. But yeah, man, thank you guys for having me. It's been a fun discussion. Always fun, like I said, to talk with like-minded, good-natured people. Appreciate the love. As far as where you guys can find me, of course, on Twitter, X, Infinite Umbra or Umbra Infinite. You'll find me either way. Tuesdays on Boom's Xbox Factor at 12 o'clock Eastern. My show, The Fix, with Daniel J. McGee is my co-host on Thursdays at 8 o'clock Eastern. And Fridays typically for the Infinite podcast at 8 o'clock Eastern, though we're doing some pre-records for now because of situations of not having availability. But they'll air on Friday, so I guess it's still the same thing anyway. But yeah, man, thank you all for having me. Appreciate it. Panda, if you could please include that link for that Halo 2 tape.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's really it. Thank you all. And chat, much love. Go and if you have not done so yet, please subscribe to your brother's channel. I'd appreciate it.
No doubt. Hey, again, thank you, Umber, for jumping in, man. Definitely appreciate that. I am very much a closed mouth don't get fed. So I know it was in the moment, but I appreciate you accepting the invitation from myself. And also I know Panda reached out to you. So thank you so much, brother. I definitely appreciate that. Your time, your energy, your effort, and your talents are very much appreciated over this way. I know that our chat had a lot of fun with you today, and I hope that our viewers did as well, man. So hey, anytime you want to come on back, you let us know and we will make that happen. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for all the kind words.
Where can everybody find you, Soul?
Oh, say, yeah, you can find me at I got Soul. Pretty much that's where you can find me on Twitter, Don't have much going on YouTube, but then also on if you're looking for me on that box that is green, it is I got so take out the W and everything else works, right? Xbox with their character limitations. So I couldn't make it work with the W in there, but all is well. That's where
Yeah.
you can find me.
Yeah. Thank you so for joining us this week. I appreciate having you on. I love the hat. It's fantastic.
Hey, it
More of
is
that.
what it is.
More
It's
of
the
that.
best that money could buy.
Nero, where can people find you? Obviously, probably. Oh, not where can people find you? Where can people avoid you, as per usual? You're
Hey,
probably on Vampire Survivors right now, right?
nah, not surprisingly. Nah, I'm about to go make dinner as soon as this ends. But Next Gen Nero on all platforms. My personal YouTube channel, Next Gen Nero, even right here on the Game Pass Daily channel. Subscribe. Got a couple more reviews coming soon. Plenty of content, plenty of games to talk about. And I appreciate everybody. Umber, it was a pleasure to have you, bro. Always a good conversation. I'm gonna put that link in the description as soon as possible. Y'all make sure y'all follow him, subscribe to him, and yeah, it's been a great one. Make sure y'all hit that like button too, guys.
Appreciate you.
We'll investigate what's happening with super chats for you. Fuck you. I have no idea. Wicked, thank you for letting everyone know where they can avoid you. I'm looking forward to some of those reviews coming out. I always enjoy watching your reviews there, Nero.
Thank you.
Yeah, just want to say a big shout out to the chat. Thank you everybody who has watched on YouTube and also on Twitter. We really appreciate your support and just the banter in general. It's just always nice to engage with everybody and have a good laugh and have a good time every week and just talk about gaming. So appreciate it. Hit that like button, share it out, and we will be back next week. You can also very quickly find me in Middle Earth amongst the hobbits. But you can find me on Twitter, Red Dead Panda Gaming, and you can find me on Xbox, Red Dead Panda Gaming, or just Red Dead Panda, actually. But we'll be back next week for episode 27. Have a good night, everybody, or good day, wherever you're watching from around the world. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
All right, good people.
Catches.